Chapter 805 Astonishing Harvest, 8,000 words, 2 chapters combined, and 5 however. The next moment, under the incredulous gazes of all demonic divine masters, Lin Yuan's figure suddenly began to surge, transforming into a colossal giant reaching thousands of miles high, lifting his right hand and grasping directly towards the depths of the nest. Boom rumble. Terrifying aura vibrated continuously. This nest, as the lair of void creatures, was bound to be fraught with peril, but under Lin Yuan's grasp, time and space whirled, everything was being annihilated. This, the heavenly Python Divine Master, who was originally waiting for Lin Yuan to recover, fell silent, its heart trembling slightly as it beheld Lin Yuan's towering form, as though he were heaven and earth. Although among the demonic divine masters, combat power does not directly correlate with size, the boundless aura emanating from Lin Yuan's million-mile figure was making the heavenly Python Divine Master's scalp tingle. Moreover, with Lin Yuan's grasp, the vast nest began to collapse from its foundation, further showcasing Lin Yuan's terrifying strength. The other demonic divine masters witnessed this scene, their mouths agape in awe. They had to painstakingly plan to gather 20 divine masters to be confident of invading the void creature nest, but Lin Yuan pierced through it with one hand. Boom rumble. Source, web novel. Com, updated on Omicron New Zero. The void creature nest continued to collapse unceasingly, Lin Yuan's arm that reached and kept going deeper until at a certain moment, it finally stopped. And at this time, it was as if the entire nest erupted in fury, horrific power surged into Lin Yuan's arm that reached in, but with a flash of Xian Huang light, everything was pacified and annihilated. Silence. 19 demonic divine masters watched this scene in shock. The trembling of the void creature nest just now was obviously a strike that gathered all its strength, but, evidently, it was easily blocked by the Taiyang divine master. Blocked with incredible ease. Just what kind of power does this Taiyang divine master possess? This Taiyang divine master, who rose to power in just 300 to 500 years, how can his strength be so formidable? Too terrifying. The demonic divine masters trembled in their hearts. The next moment, under the watchful eyes of all the demonic divine masters, Lin Yuan's arm that stretched deep into the nest retracted, and soon completely withdrew from the nest. And at this time, the demonic divine masters only noticed that Lin Yuan's right hand was already grasping 2 void creatures. These 2 void creatures were struggling desperately. The aura they emitted was not the least bit inferior to the many demonic divine masters present, but Lin Yuan's fingers were like a cage of time and space, sealing both void creatures completely within. Then, with a gentle squeeze of Lin Yuan's right hand, both void creatures were annihilated, their forms ethereal, an invisible force entered Lin Yuan's body, enhancing his spirit will. Lin Yuan's right hand delved into the nest again. When it withdrew again, between his fingers were 3 more void creatures. Then crushed. In the blink of an eye, 6 void creatures had died by Lin Yuan's hand. Lin Yuan's right hand stretched into the nest again, and when it retracted, it similarly held 3 void creatures. Powerful enough to make the demonic divine masters wary, the void creatures were like little chicks between Lin Yuan's fingers, crushed whenever he wished. Is that a void creature monarch? The heavenly Python divine master immediately noticed that among the void creatures Lin Yuan brought back the 3rd time, one of them had a faint golden hue. Sia the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The void creature monarch is the king of all void creatures, possessing the ability to command other void creatures. Similarly, the king of void creatures, once killed, the boost to spirit will is terrifyingly significant, equivalent to dozens of the same rank void creatures. Discovering the void creature monarch in Lin Yuan's palm, the eyes of other demonic divine masters turned a bit red, but thinking about the strength Lin Yuan displayed, none of them dared to step forward, their gazes continuously turning towards the heavenly Python divine master. Taiyang divine master. Seeing this, the heavenly Python divine master mustered his courage and immediately spoke. This nest was first discovered by us, whoosh. The words of heavenly Python divine master propagated through space and time, vast and mighty. At this moment, Lin Yuan was examining the void creature monarch in his palm. This was his first encounter with a king of void creatures, and it was a 9th stage void creature king. Hearing the heavenly python divine master's inquiry, Lin Yuan shifted his gaze, glancing at the heavenly python divine master. The heavenly python divine master immediately felt his scalp explode. Lin Yuan's gaze seemed to set him on fire, a terrifying spirit will, like a blazing fire that consumed everything, continuously assaulted him. Immediately, the heavenly python divine master continued, "But since you, Taiyang divine master, have come, this nest is yours. We will retreat, we will back off right away." Before he could finish speaking, the heavenly python divine master fled like a beaten dog to the distance. The remaining 18 demonic divine masters, likewise, quickly distanced themselves from Lin Yuan. These 19 demonic divine masters, daring to gather together, was because their strengths were not too disparate, none having the capability to kill any divine master. But Lin Yuan? With Lin Yuan's ability to extract 3 or 4 9th stage void creatures with one hand, the present demonic divine masters did not doubt that he had the means to kill an ordinary demonic divine master. Originally, the many divine masters had hoped that the heavenly python divine master would represent them, nearly 20 master demons, and perhaps make the Taiyang divine master warrior, at least to share a few ordinary void creatures. The Taiyang divine master eats meat, they also wanted to sip the broth. But witnessing Taiyang divine master's performance, where would these divine masters dare to linger? If they don't run now, do they wait for Taiyang divine master to completely deal with the void creature monarch, then free up his hands to deal with them? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 806 Taiyang Divine Master and Taiyin Sovereign, 8,000 words, Chapter 2 in 1. They're really quick at escaping. Lin Yuan glanced at the 19 demonic divine masters, who were frantically fleeing into the distance. He wasn't too concerned. Most of his attention was focused on the 3 void creatures inside the cage in his right palm. More precisely, on the void creature monarch whose body was shimmering with gold. The other 2 void creatures didn't restrain Lin Yuan's power much. It was mainly that void creature monarch. This void creature monarch was extremely powerful, far surpassing ordinary demonic divine masters. Had Lin Yuan not arrived in time, and had nearly 20 masters such as the heavenly python divine master and the 8-handed lord, who depended on their numerical advantage, entered the void creature nest, it is likely they would have been entirely obliterated. This void creature monarch was entirely concealing its strength, presenting a false appearance to those 19 demonic divine masters that it could be dealt with, just waiting for the demonic divine masters to come in, to capture them all in one sweep. The heavenly python divine master and other demons thought themselves the hunters, little knowing they had already become the prey of the void creatures. After Lin Yuan's appearance, this void creature monarch faintly felt that something was awry. Sir the Nephire, at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. So it wanted to flee ahead of time. As a result, Lin Yuan took action directly, and his 3rd claw dragged it out. That's also why Lin Yuan didn't bother with those 19 demonic divine masters. A slight delay might have allowed this void creature monarch to escape. Interesting. Not low in wisdom either. Lin Yuan examined the void creature monarch in his palm with interest. From the outside, this void creature monarch looked weak, tightly bound within Lin Yuan's palm. But from the perspective of this monarch, it was in the midst of a vast and limitless void, like a slightly smaller version of the void secret realm, immensely vast. Any attacks or struggles from the void creature monarch could not break free from this colossal void. After reaching the 5-layered realm of spatiotemporal fusion rules, Lin Yuan can, if he so wishes, temporarily condense a relatively complete spacetime. This was also one of the means for him to completely rid himself of the constraints of the river of time when striking for the ultimate at the 11th rank peak. It's about time. Moments later, the power of spacetime turned into the power of oblivion. The 2 void creatures next to the void creature monarch rapidly dissipated into nothingness, and lastly, the golden void creature monarch also began to disintegrate. How comfortable! Killing a void creature of the 9th stage brought about a significant increase in Lin Yuan's spirit will. Having continuously killed 8 9th stage void creatures, Lin Yuan's overall increase in spirit will had grown by at least 20%. That is to say, his original spirit will index of 10 million points has now increased to at least 12 million points. A significant increase, but within Lin Yuan's expectations. However, when that golden void creature monarch died, the power it turned into doubled Lin Yuan's spirit will index almost instantly. Lin Yuan's spirit will index shot up to 20 million points. You must know, the higher the spirit will index, the more difficult it is to improve. Going from 10 million to 12 million points, compared to going from 12 million to 14 million points, although both are an increase of 2 million points, the difficulty is entirely different. Let alone Lin Yuan's increase from 12 million straight to 20 million points. This shows how formidable the golden void creature monarch was. The stronger the void creature killed, the higher the surge in spirit will strength. A spirit will index of 20 million points, even in the main universe, would be rare among those below the 12th rank, wouldn't it? Even those special beings born with the opening of the universe and surviving until now, their spirit will indexes are probably just over 10 million, as for 20 million? Difficult, difficult, difficult. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. Without the endless void creatures of the void secret realm, it's uncertain how long it would have taken for his spirit will to reach its current level. According to the classification of the spirit will by the 10,000 universe races powerhouses, a spirit will index of 18 million points is the limit for tier 11 life. Exceeding 18 million points, it enters the 12th rank domain. It is a height only supreme beings can reach. Supreme beings who have escaped the river of time, had their spirit will honed by the shore aura, far exceeding 18 million points. Unexpectedly, the first ability of mine to reach the threshold of the 12th rank level is the spirit will? Lin Yuan felt a sense of emotion in his heart. Before undertaking the 10th traversal, he had always thought it would be the spatiotemporal fusion rule. With the comprehension of the spatiotemporal fusion rule by the myriad tribes powerhouses, coupled with his against heaven's understanding, even if he didn't reach the 6th realm this time, when he returned, there was a great hope of crossing into it. If it wasn't for the spatiotemporal fusion rules, then it would be another pillar-level fusion rule. During his journey to the two-dimensional world, Lin Yuan became the final winner and gained everything from the myriad tribes powerhouses, not just the understanding of spatiotemporal fusion rule, but also many other fusion rule comprehendings. The understanding of spatiotemporal fusion rule was just refined and easily absorbed by the white paper senior. Besides the spatiotemporal fusion rule, Lin Yuan's life and death samsara rule, great destruction rule, and other pillar-level fusion rules had reached the 6th realm. Generally speaking, the 7th realm is the domain that only supreme beings can comprehend for such pillar-level fusion rules. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 807 Taiyang Divine Master and Taiyin Sovereign, 8,000 words, Chapter 2-in-1, _2" but, with my current mental will index, even if I kill a 9th stage void creature, it won't be of much help to me. Could it be that in the future, I'll have to seek out a void creature monarch? Lin Yuan sighed inwardly. Void creature monarch? In his more than 300 years of roaming the void secret realm, Lin Yuan had only encountered one. The rest of the time, it was just hearsay. For the majority of demonic divine masters, encountering a void creature monarch is not a good thing. For example, this time, if Lin Yuan had not come, the outcome for those 19 demonic divine masters was almost certain. The stronger the spirit will, the greater the combat power that can be unleashed and the better the soul defense that can be realized. In summary, the level of spirit will has a wide-ranging impact. Lin Yuan thought to himself. In battles with peers of the same tier, it's not too bad if the spirit wills are not much different. But if there is a significant gap under the premise of similar underlying strengths, the mere instant of contact and clash of spirit wills would cause the weaker side to be suppressed. Sir, the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If the gap in spirit will is very substantial, there would be no need even to fight. A single glance could defeat the enemy. With Lin Yuan's current 20 million points in the mental will index, if he harbors the intent to kill, it would take just one look to deal with lives below tier 11. Compared to material attacks, the oppression from spirit will in terms of soul attacks is more intangible. A mere segment of a supreme being's body, even separated by the virtual world, could drive countless middle and low-tier evolvers mad. The current Lin Yuan might not overall be in the domain of the supreme beings, but at least in the aspect of spirit will, he is already close to being comparable. However, these void creatures... Lin Yuan's gaze grew solemn as he looked at the void secret realm before him. 300 years ago, at the third realm of fusion of time and space, Lin Yuan entered the void secret realm through a scroll artifact. He did not understand much about the formation of this secret realm, only knowing that whoever opened this secret realm had spatiotemporal fusion rule achievements of at least the 6th realm. But now, Lin Yuan's fusion of time and space has reached the 5th realm. Even though he still falls short of the Mystic Realm Founder's realm, he could see some essence of the void secret realm before him. In Lin Yuan's vision, the so-called void secret realm was just a net in the boundless void. And the void creatures are lives from outside of the boundless void, that is, from the dimension gap. In theory, these gap beings absolutely cannot enter dimensions like the boundless void. But because of the net of the void secret realm, it allows these gap beings a chance to enter. Once they do, they're trapped like fish on a chopping board, unable to escape. The fate waiting for those gap beings is either to struggle for survival or to be killed by demonic divine masters and become nourishment for promotion. Impressive. Lin Yuan praised inwardly. Such methods were secondary. What was truly remarkable was the attraction and imprisonment of dimension gap beings, providing many demonic divine masters with kills, fostering the foundation for the rise of the demonic powers in the boundless void. In a sense, Lin Yuan was also a beneficiary. Life within dimensions and life outside dimensions have completely opposite essences. They can complement each other. Demonic divine masters can gain an increase in spirit will by killing void creatures. If those void creatures can kill demonic divine masters, they too would receive some sort of enhancement. However, because the void secret realm is within the boundless void, and the demonic divine masters are endless, it has led to the rampant slaughter of void creatures. Lin Yuan pondered silently. While Lin Yuan was contemplating, the Lord of the Three Yin approached hastily. Master, Master! The Lord of the Three Yin was terrified, since the aura emitting from here was too horrific, as well as the sight of demonic divine masters fleeing like stray dogs. What? Upon arriving, the Lord of the Three Yin immediately noticed the enormous nest in the distance and the dark, crudely aggressive entrance of the hole. The entire nest was nearly penetrated by this hole. Even though the Lord of the Three Yin did not know how the hole formed, it could vaguely sense the terrifying traces left on it. It was as if an unparalleled giant reached out his right hand towards this giant nest, obliterating all resistance in its path. The more it observed, the more the Lord of the Three Yin trembled. And now, only Lin Yuan was left on the field. The rest of the demonic divine masters had all fled. This also suggested that Lin Yuan's power must surpass those of the demonic divine masters. Let's go! Lin Yuan contemplated for a moment and then headed in a different direction. Since all the void creatures had been killed, this place held no further value for Lin Yuan, so naturally he would not stay. Elsewhere in the void secret realm, the eight-handed lord and the heavenly python divine master regrouped. The 19 demonic divine masters scattered in their escape. Seeing that the Taiyang divine master did not pursue them, they breathed a sigh of relief. Especially the heavenly python divine master, who had directly experienced a glimpse of Lin Yuan's pressure akin to the collapse of the void. Originally prepared with various excuses, planning to somewhat coerce using the 19 demonic divine masters, he did not hesitate to bow and quicken his retreat. Heavenly Python, what exactly happened? Why were you so cowardly at the end? the eight-handed lord said with some dissatisfaction. If it weren't for the heavenly Python Divine Master taking the lead in fleeing, their 18 demonic Divine Masters wouldn't have dispersed so quickly. They could have held on for a while longer. The eight-handed lord could tell that the Taiyang Divine Master, in order to suppress the 3 void creatures in his palm, likely did not have the capacity to deal with others, which should have been their opportunity. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 808 Taiyang Divine Master and Taiyin Sovereign, 8,000 words, Chapter 2-in-1, _3-inch week. Heavenly Python Divine Master remained silent. If one were to disregard the genuine and undeniable pressure he was facing, his behavior indeed seemed cowardly. I'm not weak, but if I weren't, I would be dead. Heavenly Python Divine Master stated bluntly. The senses of demonic Divine Masters are always sharp, especially those who have grown to be 9th-stage evil gods. In the moment he faced Lin Yuan's sidelong glance, Heavenly Python Divine Master truly felt the threat of complete annihilation. Otherwise, why would he, Heavenly Python Divine Master, have acted in such a manner? Would die. Eight-handed Lord's expression became slightly solemn. He had known Heavenly Python Divine Master for a long time and was aware that the latter would never exaggerate when it came to serious matters. That Taiyang Divine Master, so powerful? Eight-handed Lord found it hard to believe. Any demonic Divine Master who wanted to grow stronger needed countless years, during which time they would inevitably come into contact with other demonic Divine Masters. But this Taiyang Divine Master, from the first time he showed up until now, has only been 300 to 500 years. 300 to 500 years? Not to mention demonic Divine Masters, even 6th-stage and 7th-stage evil gods, that's but a brief moment in time. He must have grown to be a 9th-stage perfection lord. Heavenly Python Divine Master said gravely. 9th-stage perfection? Eight-handed Lord felt a suffocation. In the vast boundless void, because of the existence of void secret realms, there were still some 9th-stage evil gods. But a lord who had grown to 9th-stage perfection was exceedingly rare. Such a lord had the power to kill ordinary lords. For them, becoming a 10th-stage evil god is the ultimate goal. In the vast endless void, those who could be counted as 9th-stage perfection lords were few, no more than 100. What should we do now? Eight-handed Lord couldn't help but ask. He had not realized the situation was so grave. The lords present had actually faced off against a 9th-stage perfection lord? What do we do? Heavenly Python Divine Master glanced at Eight-handed Lord. What can we do? If we encounter Taiyang Divine Master in the future, we must stay far away. Yes, stay far away. Eight-handed Lord was shocked and quickly agreed. Among ordinary demonic Divine Masters, even if there is a gap in strength, it's not astronomical. At most, one would just withdraw in defeat. But a 9th-stage perfection lord could utterly kill an ordinary lord. The implications were different. Sia the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Among evil gods, it's survival of the fittest. Even reaching the 9th rank, consuming one's own kind offers little benefit. Yet some demonic Divine Masters simply enjoy devouring their own kind. The scene outside the void creature nest was witnessed by no less than 19 demonic Divine Masters. This consequently caused the strength of Taiyang Divine Master to spread swiftly among the demonic Divine Masters. Especially concerning a potential 9th-stage perfection lord, the many demonic Divine Masters were naturally highly concerned and sensitive to information about Taiyang Divine Master. Taiyang Divine Master, this strong? There are 9 9th-rank void creatures inside that void creature nest? And one of them is a monarch among void creatures? It's a trap. Definitely a trap. That void creature monarch is almost certainly close to 9th-stage perfection. Coupled with the home field advantage, as long as you dare to storm in, you're sure to suffer heavy casualties, and there's a very high chance your entire force will be annihilated. As word spread, many details about the void creature nest, including the appearance and size of the void creature monarch, were disclosed, causing a scare among some demonic divine masters. The conclusions drawn were even more startling to the many demonic divine masters. Almost 9th stage perfection void creature monarch? Simply plucked out from the depths of the nest by Taiyang divine master, unable to resist? This Taiyang divine master's strength, it isn't just suspected to be 9th stage perfection, it's definite 9th stage perfection. Apart from a 9th stage perfection evil god, who else could treat a void creature monarch close to 9th stage perfection as a mere plaything? One demonic divine master after another grew pale, especially Heavenly Python divine master, 8-handed lord, and the other 19 lords present, who were exceedingly frightened. Strictly speaking, Taiyang divine master was also their savior? Inside the void's secret realm, as well as many discussions among the demonic divine masters in the vast boundless void, put Taiyang divine master at the center of a storm. But this was within Lin Yuan's expectations. With his increasing strength and the growing number of void creatures he killed, exposing his true strength was inevitable. Presently, Lin Yuan had combat power at the peak of the boundless void. He was almost fearless, so these things did not concern him. Besides, currently at the center of the storm was only the Taiying primordial spirit. Should there be any real problems, it would be Taiyang divine spirit's concern. A mere primordial spirit, even if fallen, Lin Yuan could swiftly recondense it. The 44th world. In the dark void, Lin Yuan Taiying primordial spirit silently merged into a world, planting the demon tree's seed deep into the earth. In over 300 years, Lin Yuan Taiying primordial spirit had occupied world after world, spreading the martial Tao cultivation system to use as his major martial Tao bastions in this dimension. Only, my actions of occupying worlds have already drawn the notice of many evil gods, and even some lords. Lin Yuan thought silently to himself. For evil gods, worlds are food, and after occupying a world, even if not immediately consumed, it's impossible to do as Lin Yuan does, actively protecting the creatures within and even spreading a cultivation system. Such unusual behavior, hard to hide from evil gods, some of which have special abilities that allow peering into the scenes within worlds. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 809 Taiyang Divine Master and Taiying Sovereign, 8,000 words, Chapter 2-in-1, _4 As a result, in recent decades, the worlds occupied by Lin Yuan often suffered interference and even attacks from other evil gods. Fortunately, my spirit will has grown strong enough to simultaneously maintain the combat power of multiple incarnations, Lin Yuan silently thought to himself. An incarnation is not an avatar. Maintaining the combat power of an incarnation requires a sufficiently strong spirit will. Lin Yuan's spirit will reach 20 million points, and even before killing a void creature monarch, it had surpassed 10 million points, thus he was able to maintain incarnational combat power at a decent level. Additionally, taking advantage of the inner world's demon trees that bred physical bodies, even though for a short duration, it couldn't be as perfect as the martial ancestor golden body, but it's comparable to an evil god's physical body, imbuing a thread of spirit will to form an incarnation, leveraging home field advantages. He also fended off the probes of evil gods one by one. Without these incarnations holding fort, relying on Lin Yuan Taiying primordial spirit alone? Even though the Taiying primordial spirit is powerful, distant water cannot quench near fire. It could only protect a few nearby worlds at most. I want to spread the martial Tao cultivation system. I must protect the beings within these worlds, and those beings are the food for evil gods. Those powerful evil gods can't possibly watch their food growing strong. Lin Yuan thought to himself, with the power exhibited by Taiying primordial spirit, let alone occupying 40 worlds, even 400 or 1,000, no evil god would dare object. In the boundless void, evil gods are the absolute dominions, and among evil gods, it's the survival of the fittest, the strong dominate everything. But after Lin Yuan occupied worlds, instead of devouring food, he cultivated them, which puzzled and even infuriated many evil gods. This led to many subsequent probings. If these evil gods know, I am not an evil god myself but a life nurtured by the worlds, probably it will no longer be probing but a desperate attempt to eradicate. Lin Yuan secretly thought. Currently, Lin Yuan's martial ancestor golden body, bred from the origin source of Tianqing world, is fundamentally different from those evil gods' life forms. However, the Taiyin primordial spirit and Taiyang divine spirit originate from illusory spirit bodies, even if utilizing illusory reality to turn illusion into reality. But it transcends the physical body, somewhat similar to evil gods' lives, which is why they are thought to be the same ilk of evil gods. Slowly does it. Just by dragging it out, I will definitely win. Lin Yuan was not at all flustered. With against heaven's understanding, he grew stronger every moment. By buying time, he could securely stand till the end. Once my fusion of time and space rules reach the sixth realm, I will become the strongest in the boundless void, reaching the level of a void secret realm founder. Then spreading the martial Tao cultivation system will be as easy as flipping my hand. Lin Yuan quickly thought. Achieving the sixth realm of fusion of time and space rules, for Lin Yuan's strength enhancement, is not merely limited to controlling time and space fusion. Upon reaching sixth realm understanding of fusion of time and space rules, the inner world would also undergo corresponding metamorphic transformation, and the strength of the inner world is closely linked with many of Lin Yuan's techniques, especially the fifth kind of physical body divine ability world. In short, upon reaching the sixth realm of fusion of time and space rules, Lin Yuan will experience a transformation, an all-around qualitative change. If I cannot achieve the sixth realm of fusion of time and space rules this time, after returning, it'll come back again. After all, it's only using up 1/3 of world-breaking origin force. Lin Yuan made up his mind. Before realizing the rules of fusion of time and space, the boundless void and the main universe had no significant difference. Rather, with different timescales, Lin Yuan had more time to comprehend other rules and secret techniques. Moreover, the void creatures in that void secret realm also greatly benefit Lin Yuan in enhancing his own spirit will. Another descent is definitely worth it. 10 years later. CTH Novel Iyer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Outside a vast world. Dozens of towering figures stood in the boundless void, their gazes coldly towards the world nearby. Taiyin sovereign, why do you cultivate those ants within the world instead of directly devouring them? The leading evil god, a black wolf with 3 heads, bore a cold expression, aura of a 9th stage true lord enveloping it. I have my plans. Lin Yuan teen primordial spirit appeared, gazing distantly at the dozens of evil gods. Over 300 years as Lin Yuan Taiyin primordial spirit continually occupied one world after another, among evil gods he also gained a title known as Taiyin sovereign. The titles among evil gods often relate to their characteristics and actions. Lin Yuan Taiyang divine spirit is called Taiyang divine master because it controls flames powerful enough to incinerate ordinary true lords. And Taiyin sovereign is characterized by the chilling aura deployed during actions, coupled with conquering one world after another, hence adorned by the suffix sovereign. Plans. Whether it's these worlds or the ants within them, they are all our food. Are your plans to cultivate these food sources to oppose us? The 3-headed black wolf evil god spoke coldly. If it weren't for the overwhelming power displayed by the Taiyin divine master which makes it uneasy, it would probably have already made a move to suppress. This is my business. Lin Yuan's tone was calm. Being not an evil god by nature, he naturally doesn't need to consider matters from an evil god's perspective. Your business. The 3-headed black wolf evil god sneered. Soon a black fog started spreading. At the same time, chilling cold also began to diffuse, enveloping the space outside the world. The two forces continuously clashed, and moments later, the 3-headed black wolf evil god staggered back, full of shock looking at Lin Yuan. Taiyin sovereign, your strength, probably pinnacle right below 9th stage perfection. Why protect those ants? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8 10 Taiyang Divine Master and Taiyin Sovereign, 8,000 words, Chapter 2 in 1. _5 The three-headed black wolf evil god was full of confusion. With Lin Yuan's strength, shouldn't he be venturing into the void secret realm to become a perfect 9th stage evil god and then attempt to break through to the 10th stage? Just wait. The Divine Masters will not let this go easily. The three-headed black wolf evil god didn't hesitate to turn around and leave, and upon seeing this, the dozens of other evil gods immediately followed. They were not as powerful as the three-headed black wolf evil god, so naturally, they wouldn't make any impulsive moves at this moment. Lin Yuan watched the dozens of evil gods leave. With his strength, he completely had the ability to keep all these evil gods behind, but doing so would inevitably reveal that he had already attained the power of a perfect 9th stage. In such circumstances, the ones to come and probe next time would not be ordinary divine masters like the three-headed black wolf evil god, but a group of perfect 9th stage demonic divine masters. This did not conform to Lin Yuan's anticipated plan to buy time, which is why he let these evil gods leave. In the absence of major changes in the situation, Lin Yuan would naturally delay the arrival of the final battle as much as possible. This way, he could secure the most time for cultivation. For every additional day of cultivation, Lin Yuan might grasp the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm and thus sweep away all opposition. Why protect those ants? Lin Yuan's mind flashed through the last sentence of the three-headed black wolf evil god, and he shook his head slightly. Who's to blame when you evil gods cannot cultivate the martial Tao? Sar the Ovalfire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. For Lin Yuan, whether it was the foreign evil gods or the beings within the world, anyone who could cultivate the martial Tao and spread it would receive his protection. Even if evil gods could cultivate martial Tao, Lin Yuan would be more inclined to protect them. After all, the individual strength of evil gods is formidable, and they would inevitably advance rapidly in martial Tao cultivation, giving birth to the first 6th stage martial Tao, 7th stage martial Tao, and even an 8th layer cultivator with breakneck speed. The more higher rank cultivators there are on the martial path evolutionary path, the greater the assistance to Lin Yuan. But unfortunately, after more than 300 years of research by Lin Yuan, these foreign evil gods were too reliant on their innate talents, and it was basically impossible for them to abandon those talents and cultivate the martial Tao cultivation evolution path. Each evil god's path of cultivation is predetermined from their birth. As for changes later in life, even if it can be done, it is extremely difficult and unlikely to achieve much success. Void's secret realm. Lin Yuan continued to delve deeper into the secret realm, searching for many void creatures. With a mental will index reaching 20 million points, 9th stage void creatures were of little help to Lin Yuan. But even if the help was small, it was still help. The increase in the mental will index was just very slight. A mosquito may be small, but it is still flesh. Lin Yuan naturally would not give up. With his current mental will index, as long as there was an increase, it would be a gain. If he returned to the main universe, he would not have such good opportunities. Even a slight boost to the mental will index would be difficult. Lin Yuan is not a supreme being who can stand on the shore for a long time and experience the shore's breath for training. Residing within the river of time, a mental will index of 18 million points is already the limit. Lin Yuan's mental will index surpassing 20 million points basically eliminates any possibility of further improvement. According to the current rate, in the next 300 years, if no major unforeseen events occur, my mental will index is expected to reach 23 million points. Lin Yuan estimated in his heart, feeling quite satisfied. Just as Lin Yuan was planning to continue searching for void creatures. Suddenly, a powerful aura rapidly approached. Lin Yuan looked up and saw a terrifying evil god divine master gazing at him from afar. Eastern Wing Lord? Lin Yuan recognized the opponent. The Eastern Wing Lord was one of the very famous among the many demonic divine masters, belonging to the perfect 9th stage evil god divine masters. Taiyang Divine Master. The Eastern Wing Lord's face mustered a smile, showing sufficient goodwill to Lin Yuan. Facing an existence of the same level, the Eastern Wing Lord naturally did not dare to show arrogance. A perfect ninth-stage demonic divine master would be very haughty towards an ordinary evil god divine master, but was quite humble when interacting with those of the same level. Among divine master-level evil gods, it was good to avoid skirmishes and disputes, and this was even more true for perfect ninth-stage divine masters. I did not expect that after sleeping for hundreds of thousands of years, the boundless void would give birth to a strong being like the Taiyang Divine Master, said the Eastern Wing Lord with a hint of emotion. Although the rise of the Taiyang Divine Master took only 300 to 500 years, but the Eastern Wing Lord subconsciously thought that the existence of the Taiyang Divine Master was far longer than 300 to 500 years. Those were just the years during which the Taiyang Divine Master had revealed his strength. By sheer luck. Lin Yuan nodded. He didn't mind communicating and exchanging ideas with a perfect ninth-stage demonic divine master. With his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could often perceive many extraordinary pieces of information from the other party. After chatting casually with the Eastern Wing Lord for half an hour, the conversation suddenly turned, and the Eastern Wing Lord solemnly asked, "I came to seek the Taiyang Divine Master to join forces against an enemy." An enemy? Lin Yuan's expression became slightly grave. In the boundless void, evil gods are the absolute dominions, so what other enemy could there be? I wonder if the Taiyang Divine Master has heard of the Taiyin Sovereign? Asked the Eastern Wing Lord in a deep voice. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8:11 What can you do to me? Taiyin Sovereign? Lin Yuan looked at the Eastern Wing Lord. He had not expected that the Eastern Wing Lord would personally seek him out for the Taiyin primordial spirit. And the tone of the Eastern Wing Lord had already treated the Taiyin primordial spirit as a formidable enemy. Taiyin Sovereign. The Eastern Wing Lord immediately relayed the intelligence about the Taiyin Sovereign in detail. He emphasized that the Taiyin Sovereign was cultivating those beings from worlds regarded as food by the evil gods. The Taiyin Sovereign is not simple, the Eastern Wing Lord said with a grave tone, although he tries his best to conceal, according to Tianji True Lord's peering deduction, the true combat power of the Taiyin Sovereign might even surpass those of us who are perfect demonic divine masters at the 9th rank. A single perfect divine master is probably no match for him. Having said that, the Eastern Wing Lord looked at Lin Yuan. The Tianji True Lord is also among the very famous ones within the numerous perfect demon True Lords. However, what Tianji True Lord is best at is peering deduction, reputed to be the highest in wisdom among the infinite evil gods within the boundless void. Even the other divine masters of the same rank held a considerable respect for Tianji True Lord. So that's how it is. Lin Yuan's expression remained unchanged, and he nodded slightly. At the same time, he felt somewhat impressed in his heart that there are wise men among the evil gods. He had prompted the Taiyin primordial spirit to suppress its combat power in order to buy time. Little did he know that it had already come to the attention of those perfect divine masters. Actually, this was quite normal. The powers wielded by the evil gods are myriad and peculiar. The Taiyin primordial spirit had certainly hidden its strength, but had acted frequently. It was not particularly surprising that some clues were noticed. But these were just some superficial clues. At least, that Tianji True Lord didn't know that the so-called Taiyang Divine Master and the Taiyin Sovereign actually originated from the same source. Otherwise, the Eastern Wing Lord would not have taken the initiative to come seeking him. The Taiyang Divine Master, I wish to invite you to join us and suppress that Taiyin Sovereign at the crucial moment. The Eastern Wing Evil God revealed his ultimate purpose. The actions of the Taiyin Sovereign were undoubtedly shaking the foundation of evil god dominion over the boundless void. They must be stopped, or the consequences would be unimaginable. Indeed, the beings within those worlds cultivated by the current Taiyin Sovereign are still extremely weak and pose no threat to any evil god. But in the deducible future depicted by Tianji True Lord, if allowed to develop unchecked, then those beings viewed as ants by the numerous evil gods would become stronger and stronger. Eventually, they would pose a threat to the rule of the evil gods. Thus, they must be eliminated in advance. No problem. Lin Yuan agreed without much hesitation. Sar the novel, F.I.R. at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. His current strength, with either of the two primordial spirits, was stronger than a perfect divine master. As for the martial ancestor golden body, it was even stronger than the two primordial spirits. But overall, he was still at the same level as the perfect demonic divine masters. He had not stepped into the legendary 10th stage. Thus, facing many perfect demonic divine masters, he was still unable to achieve a sweep. In such a situation, having the Taiyang divine spirit temporarily blend with the interior of the evil gods was the best choice. At least he could be aware of the schemes of those perfect evil gods so as to allow the Taiyin primordial spirit to react accordingly. If necessary, the two primordial spirits could even join forces to counter-slaughter those perfect evil gods. Of course, the unification of the two primordial spirits to massacre those perfect evil gods would have to be absolutely certain. This was very likely to force the core depths of the evil gods to appear in the world, leading to an all-out escalation of the war, and then resulting in a great battle throughout the entire boundless void. In such a case, Lin Yuan himself didn't care, relying on several physical body divine abilities, especially the elemental body. Preserving life was not an issue, and the worst outcome would just be to end the traversal early and return to the main universe. But this could likely affect the spread of the martial path evolutionary path. Normally speaking, Lin Yuan's main goal was still to delay time. As long as the true body venerable in the main universe grasped the spatial-temporal fusion rule of the sixth realm, those perfect evil gods, no matter how they jumped, would be of no importance. Pity, the descent of consciousness is absolutely safe, but it cannot exert the strongest combat power. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Lin Yuan's strongest combat power, naturally, came from the true body venerable in the main universe. As for the martial ancestor golden body descended into the boundless void, its heritage is indeed unique, but it still cannot compare with the true body venerable from the main universe. After all, the true body venerable from the main universe has gone through a complete chaos void origin infusion and various enhancements to both physical body and spirit, such as soaking in the eternal spring, nourishment from many universe rare treasures, and so on. The most important thing is that the main universe Lin Yuan has many trump cards at his disposal. All right. Then at that time, I will contact the Taiyang Divine Master. The Eastern Wing Lord did not find anything surprising with Lin Yuan's agreement. Firstly, because his visit to invite was under the direction of Tianji True Lord. And Tianji True Lord? Even a perfect demon True Lord would give face and not offend lightly. Secondly, lower-ranking evil gods may be extremely selfish, but for those who have already stood at the peak of the boundless void as perfect demonic divine masters, their perspective differs from ordinary evil gods. The actions of the Taiyin sovereign are intolerable to all perfect demonic divine masters. Unless truly unable to make a move, they would basically agree. If Lin Yuan had refused or hesitated, it would have aroused the suspicion of the Eastern Wing Lord. Watching the Eastern Wing Lord leave, Lin Yuan's gaze was deep. With his perception, he naturally noticed that the Eastern Wing Lord did not come alone. At a distant location, another powerful perfect evil god was watching. Is it that Tianji True Lord? Lin Yuan speculated in his heart. Tianji True Lord, known for wisdom, was able to command the respect of other many evil gods with his wisdom. The means of such a Tianji True Lord should definitely not be underestimated. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8:12 What Can You Do to Me? Underscore to know, the demonic divine masters at the 9th stage, though all exceedingly wise, still inherently revered strength due to their evil deity nature. In such a case, the higher the status of the Tianji True Lord, the more extraordinary this perfect demon True Lord must be. Billions of miles away from where Lin Yuan was, on an ordinary hill stood a figure. This figure was a mere 10 meters tall, with a head nearly the size of its body. Unlike other evil gods, it had not a trace of malevolence, its eyes tranquil. This figure was none other than the Tianji True Lord, an anomaly amongst the many evil gods, renowned for wisdom. Tianji, I've already convinced the Taiyang Divine Master. The Taiyang Divine Master has also agreed to come to our aid when necessary. Just then, the Eastern Wing Lord approached quickly, standing below the Tianji True Lord, and spoke up. In fact, it wasn't just the Taiyang Divine Master who was a perfect Divine Master. On their way here, under the direction of the Tianji True Lord, the Eastern Wing Lord had visited several perfect demon True Lords. Looking across the entire boundless void, there were no more than 100 perfect demon True Lords. Which of them wasn't dominant in their own realm? Other perfect demons would have a hard time finding them even if they wanted to. Only the Tianji True Lord could know the whereabouts of most of them through peeking deductions. This Taiyang Divine Master has a great secret. In the boundless void for tens of millions of years, there have been no traces left by this Divine Master, said the Tianji True Lord, frowning slightly. Great secret? The Eastern Wing Lord said nonchalantly. Which one of us perfect Divine Masters doesn't have a great secret? As long as it doesn't threaten the boundless void, it's fine. Evil gods were solitary, especially the perfect demon True Lords who evolved to the 9th stage. They almost all harbored great secrets. Even the Eastern Wing Lord was aware that a few of the perfect demon True Lords did not grow up in the boundless void. They came from the deepest part of the Void Secret Realm, a region that only the creators of the Void Secret Realm could enter, filled with numerous void creatures. Over the long years, occasional rifts would appear in that space, allowing some weaker evil gods to fall in, with a great chance of evolving into perfect demon True Lords before making their way out. Tianji True Lord also couldn't detect any traces left by those few perfect demon True Lords. That's true. Tianji True Lord nodded. SEA the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. After all, the boundless void still had too many secrets unfathomed, with the Void Secret Realm being just one of them. As long as the Taiyang Divine Master didn't do what the Taiyin Sovereign did, nurturing those foods, Tianji True Lord couldn't be bothered to intervene. Tianji, isn't it enough to confront the Taiyin Sovereign with the 13 perfect Divine Masters we have convinced? The Eastern Wing Lord couldn't help but speak out. Before visiting Lin Yuan, the Eastern Wing Lord had already visited 12 perfect demon True Lords. Adding themselves, there were 15 perfect demon True Lords in total. It should be enough. Tianji True Lord nodded slightly, giving the Eastern Wing Lord a glance. The strength of the Taiyin Sovereign is above yours. To suppress without any risks, fear that we would need more than 10 perfect demon True Lords. Among the perfect evil gods, there were levels to their abilities, winners and losers in their strength. Defeating is easy, but killing is as hard as ascending to heaven. Even for an ordinary perfect Divine Master, suppression might require 5 or 6 of the same rank. The strength of the Taiyin Sovereign was somewhat stronger than ordinary perfect Divine Masters. Mobilizing 10 of the same rank would be considered foolproof. I understand. The Eastern Wing Lord immediately nodded. In fact, according to the Eastern Wing Lord's estimate, no matter how strong the Taiyin Sovereign was, it shouldn't exceed the 9th stage by much. As long as it wasn't the 10th stage, 7 or 8 of the same rank would probably suffice. But 7 or 8 perfect Divine Masters attempting to suppress the Taiyin Sovereign could lead to accidents. For instance, during the Taiyin Sovereign's resistance, 2 or 3 perfect Divine Masters might get injured. Under such circumstances, naturally the more perfect Divine Masters, the better. After all, this was for the entire boundless void, and it didn't require the Eastern Wing Lord to pay any price. However, both this Taiyang Divine Master and the Taiyin Sovereign have appeared within 1,000 years? Tianji True Lord's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. If not for the opposite powers wielded by the Taiyang Divine Master and the Taiyin Sovereign, and the fact that one was in the void's secret realm while the other was in the boundless void with even their actions distinctly different, Tianji True Lord would have even suspected any relation between the two. This must be a coincidence. The Eastern Wing Lord speculated, although we evil gods can create incarnations, the power of the incarnation shares the same origin as the principal self and is much weaker. The difference between this Taiyang Divine Master and the Taiyin Sovereign is very clear. The Eastern Wing Lord spoke. The many abilities held by evil gods were indeed unfathomable, but also had to abide by the laws of the cosmos, of which the Eastern Wing Lord and Tianji True Lord were very aware. Let's see when the time comes. Tianji True Lord's eyes flashed. In fact, he had tasked the Eastern Wing Lord with the specific duty of inviting the Taiyang Divine Master this time to test whether there was any real connection between the two. According to the Eastern Wing Lord's description, the Taiyang Divine Master did not show any abnormalities, but the Tianji True Lord still had not let down his guard. As the perfect demon True Lord known for wisdom, Tianji True Lord would not easily trust anything. If the Taiyang Divine Master did not reveal any flaws now, Tianji True Lord didn't mind continuing to wait. 500 years? 1,000? 10,000? Or even longer? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 813 What Can You Do to Me? _3 time is hardly an issue for the Tianji True Lord. Even in dealing with the Taiyin Sovereign next, the Tianji True Lord will observe the response of the Taiyang Divine Master from the shadows. Boundless Void. Lin Yuan Taiyin Primordial Spirit sits cross-legged just outside a certain world. Thinking of assembling numerous perfect demon True Lords against me? Lin Yuan had an idea. If he were unaware of this, facing the union of more than 10 perfect demon True Lords, Lin Yuan would indeed find it somewhat troublesome. But since he knew in advance, it became much easier. With the current strength of my spirit will, I can probably maintain 50 avatars with basic combat power at the same time. Lin Yuan thought to himself. With Lin Yuan's strength, producing an avatar was nothing more than a strand of spirit will. However, to have this avatar possess combat power would exert a burden on Lin Yuan's spirit will. Before undertaking the 10th traversal, Lin Yuan's spirit will barely exceeded 1 million. In the main universe, at most 2 or 3 avatars could maintain basic combat power simultaneously. Now that Lin Yuan's spirit will exceeds 20 million, the number of avatars capable of maintaining basic combat power has significantly increased. Avatars are not the same as divided selves. Very little spirit will is invested, and thus, the mental burden required to maintain basic combat power is significant. Of course, maintaining basic combat power is relative to Lin Yuan's true body venerable. Even his weakest incarnation could easily suppress 10th rank and 9th rank powerhouses. Whereas basic combat power referred to demonstrating strength close to the threshold of tier 11. Now Lin Yuan occupies a total of 42 worlds, each with an avatar stationed within, and these avatars, blessed by the origin source of the worlds, can fully challenge those perfect demon True Lords. Perfect demon True Lords, as per the classification of the main universe, are basically equivalent to the 4th and 5th layers of tier 11. The perfect demon True Lords might differ markedly from those 4th and 5th layer powerhouses in the main universe in terms of methods and abilities, but overall, they should be on the same level. Had it not been for the need of these avatars to utilize the origin source to barely exhibit the combat power of the 4th layer of tier 11, Lin Yuan, with the power of so many avatars, could have actively encircled and killed those perfect demon True Lords. The founder of the Void's secret realm? Lin Yuan gazed into the depths of the boundless void, where his understanding of the spatiotemporal fusion rule allowed him to vaguely perceive a vast inner world situated at the deepest part of the void. The Taiyang Divine Spirit wandered in the Void's secret realm for 300 to 400 years without pinpointing the trail of the realm's opener. This was also why Lin Yuan did not flip the table with those demonic divine masters. Even now, without grasping the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm and thus unable to sweep through everything in this boundless void at once, effortlessly slaying 10 or 20 perfect demon true lords would still be no issue. But such an action carries great risks, as it might force the opener of the Void Secret Realm to act, which, even if not fatal for Lin Yuan, could affect his 300 to 400 years of spreading martial Dao in the boundless void. Thus, Lin Yuan has been waiting until now, since time is working in his favor anyway. The longer the delay, the more terrifying the enemies those demons will have to face. Since those demons are planning to go all out against me, there's no need for me to be so cautious. Lin Yuan made up his mind. In the past 300 to 400 years, the Taiyin primordial spirit occupied one world after another, trying to stay as low-key as possible to avoid drawing the attention of other demonic gods. But now, it seems that this approach is not so meaningful. Those perfect demon true lords are discussing how to deal with him, so naturally, there is no need to continue as before. I can now maintain 50 avatars with basic combat power, so I can fully occupy 50 worlds and then dispatch avatars to preside over them. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted slightly as he looked towards the vast boundless void. Once an avatar takes control of a world, it can swiftly replace the heavenly Dao with the power of the demon tree seed and gain the blessing of the world origin source. Thus, combat power soars again, reaching the threshold of the perfect demon true lords, and within the world, those perfect demon true lords would not dare to attack recklessly. CTH Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Avatar at the threshold of perfect demon true lords is naturally no match for veteran perfect demon lords. At best, they could only challenge them and they would definitely lose in a real fight. But within the world, those perfect demon true lords would certainly worry about self-destructive tactics, such as controlling the world's collapse, the power of which could at the very least gravely wound, if not wholly eradicate, a perfect demon at full strength. Under such circumstances, the perfect demon true lords, if not foolish, would not act rashly. Somewhere at the exit of the Void Secret Realm, the figures of Tianji True Lord and Eastern Wing Lord appeared. The matters from here on will be handed over to you, Tianji True Lord said, looking at the Eastern Wing Lord. Now that the union with other perfect demon true lords has been orchestrated, the rest can be left to the Eastern Wing Lord. Held by me. Tianji, what do you plan to do? The Eastern Wing Lord was slightly startled and quickly asked. I have a hunch that the Taiyin sovereign's occupation of one world after another, cultivating the ants within as food, is not so simple. And there's martial Dao? Such a cultivation system, which greatly diverges from the growth of us demonic beings, can actually allow these ants to grow stronger. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8:14 What can you do to me? _4 Tianji True Lord's tone was slightly grave. In fact, when he learned that the Taiyin sovereign was occupying world after world, Tianji True Lord didn't care at all. A perfect demon true lord as mighty as he, what's the big deal with occupying dozens or even hundreds of worlds? Subsequently, knowing that the Taiyin sovereign was nurturing those mere ants within those worlds, Tianji True Lord still wasn't very concerned. Those ants within the worlds, whose talents and qualifications were far inferior to those of the perfect evil gods, could you really nurture them just because you wanted to? In Tianji True Lord's view, the actions of the Taiyin sovereign were nothing more than a personal hobby during his leisure time. It was not until Tianji True Lord saw the martial Tao cultivation system, Lin Yuan occupying world after world, spreading the martial Tao cultivation system, Tianji True Lord, a perfect demon true lord like him, could easily see the martial Tao cultivation system if he so wished. However, upon seeing it, Tianji True Lord broke out in cold sweat. He immediately realized the potential of the martial Tao cultivation system. If one could cultivate this system to the end, they would be no weaker than they, the perfect demon true lords. How could this be? Because of this reason. Tianji True Lord observed the Taiyin sovereign seriously and finally, after witnessing the Taiyin sovereign's numerous interventions, determined that the opponent was concealing his strength, that his true combat power might exceed all evil gods' imagination. Just deal with that Taiyin sovereign, and then kill all the martial Dao cultivators, right? Eastern Wing Lord immediately said. Right now, the martial Dao cultivators were still exceedingly weak, and even compared with ordinary beings, they were a bit more delectable to the evil gods. I still have some worries. So I plan to next put in a good effort to deduce, striving to find the source of martial Dao. Tianji True Lord said gravely. Okay. Eastern Wing Lord nodded. If there's anything, I will contact you right away. For Tianji True Lord's decision, Eastern Wing Lord had no objections. So the Nelfire NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 100 years went by. Tianqing World. Deep within the martial hall, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Around his body, the power of fusion of time and space faintly formed a vast Milky Way. The river water rippled, each ripple causing a large amount of space-time fluctuations, but all space-time fluctuations were compressed within the martial hall. What exactly is fusion of time and space? Lin Yuan opened his eyes, deep in thought. When he first grasped the spatiotemporal fusion rule, Lin Yuan felt as if he had completely penetrated the fundamental mysteries of time and space. But with continuous cultivation and insight, second realm, third realm, fourth realm, fifth realm, Lin Yuan became more confused about the spatiotemporal fusion rule. Especially now, attempting to comprehend the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rules, he found himself unable to advance. From the third realm to the fifth realm of spatiotemporal fusion rules, Lin Yuan only took 100 years. But from the fifth realm to now, Lin Yuan spent 300 years without taking that step into the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rules. The space we live in is space-time, the time we experience is also space-time, and even the river of time I originally perceived is actually just one aspect. It's not just time, but also encompasses space. It should be called the river of space-time. Many inspirations flashed through the depths of Lin Yuan's mind. During the comprehension of the secret skill Milky Way, Lin Yuan's insight into the six-realm space-time fusion rule also kept increasing. Without this secret skill, it would take at least 10 times longer for Lin Yuan to get to this step. And that is based on the foundation of Against Heaven's understanding. Without Against Heaven's understanding, let alone Lin Yuan, who is now only 10th rank, even those 11th rank lives can't possibly grasp the spatial-temporal fusion rule of the sixth realm. Your understanding defies heaven. Comprehending the secret skill Milky Way further enhances your space-time fusion comprehension. Infinite inspiration burst forth, and the space-time Milky Way condensed around Lin Yuan's body suddenly began to surge wildly. The terrifying space-time fluctuations shuddered, yet instantly calmed down. I can feel it. I am not far from the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. After 100 years of arduous cultivation, he finally glimpsed the threshold of the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rule. Continue. Lin Yuan was full of drive. If he could comprehend the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rules within the remaining 200 years of residence time, it would make this traversal complete. Even if he couldn't, for Lin Yuan, it was already a considerable gain. The peak comprehension of the fifth realm space-time fusion rules and nearly 24 million points of mental will index. Placed on other tier 11 lives, even those unique and exceptionally talented special beings would not be able to accomplish it in 100 billion, 1,000 billion, or even a quintillion years. Especially the latter, 24 million mental will index points would be enough to make any tier 11 life despair. Meanwhile, outside the Tianqing world, a figure silently appeared. This figure was 10 meters in size, with a head nearly as large as its body, eyes serene. Yet now, it was seriously observing the celestial Cyan world in the distance. 100 years, I've expended endless heart force, did all I could to deduce and peak, finally locking down this location from the many traces left by the Taiyin sovereign. Tianji True Lord's expression was slightly emotional. Only he himself knew the price he had paid to find this place. If my deduction is correct, that world is the birthplace of martial Dao. The source of the martial Dao cultivation system spread by the Taiyin sovereign is right here. Tianji True Lord's spirit was uplifted, although he didn't know why the Taiyin sovereign spread martial Dao like that, but since it was possible to find the source of martial Dao, it was entirely possible to cut off the spread of martial Dao from the root. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8:15 What can you do to me? _5 Thus, within the boundless void, the dominion of the evil gods can no longer be shaken. Eastern Wing and the others have already entangled the Taiyin sovereign. Using this opportunity, I can fully explore this world. The Tianji True Lord was very cautious. Even if the Taiyin sovereign couldn't return in a short time, he didn't consider sending his true body into the Tianqing world. Instead, he split off an incarnation, while his true body stayed far away, controlling the incarnation to explore the Tianqing world. But very quickly, an incarnation of the Tianji True Lord swiftly entered the Tianqing world. For a being like the Tianji True Lord, a perfect demon True Lord, invading a world of this scale like the Tianqing world was effortless, especially since the Tianji True Lord was skilled in wisdom, which made it so easy to enter the Tianqing world. This world has nothing special. The Tianji True Lord glanced around and compared to the 50 worlds occupied by the Taiyin sovereign, some of the powerful worlds were tens of times larger than the Tianqing world. The Tianji True Lord mingled among the beings of the Tianqing world, beginning to probe the details of this world. This world also prevalently practices martial Tao. The Tianji True Lord quickly learned everything he wanted to know. That is the true source of martial Tao. Martial ancestor? The Tianji True Lord's expression turned solemn, hearing this term for the first time. Previously, from those dozens of worlds occupied by the Taiyin sovereign, he had only investigated the martial Tao cultivation system and the martial Dao cultivators. As for martial ancestor, he hadn't heard it from any martial Dao cultivator. Martial ancestor is the source of martial Tao. Is martial Tao spread by the martial ancestor? The Tianji True Lord carefully pondered, who exactly is this martial ancestor? Could it be the Taiyin sovereign? Martial ancestor resides in the martial hall of the Canopy realm. The Tianji True Lord gathered more information. Where the martial ancestor was not a secret in the Tianqing world. Basically, any martial Dao cultivator would know. That is the martial hall. For centuries, every once in a while, the high priest of the martial hall would hold ceremonies to venerate the martial ancestor, leading all beings of heaven and earth to bow to the martial ancestor. Martial hall? The Tianji True Lord decided to go and investigate the reality of the martial ancestor. Since he was just an incarnation now, even if he really encountered any danger, it wouldn't cause any problems. Even if the Taiyin sovereign rushed back, he couldn't harm him. Swoosh! Shortly after, the Tianji True Lord arrived at the Canopy continent. Although this was just an incarnation of the Tianji True Lord, with the realm of the original body, no martial Dao cultivator detected him along the way. Is this ancient tree also a demon? The Tianji True Lord glanced at the ancestral demon tree. Although it has been nurtured in the Tianqing world for hundreds of thousands of years, its essence of being a demon was unchanged. This is the martial hall? Quickly, the Tianji True Lord arrived in front of a grand hall. The aura emanating from here was substantial, causing the Tianji True Lord to halt his steps. Martial ancestor is deep within the martial hall? The Tianji True Lord thought for a moment, not acting rashly. At this point, the Tianji True Lord felt an inexplicable pressure deep in his heart. Let's see who this martial ancestor really is. Which True Lord is playing tricks? The Tianji True Lord focused his thoughts, immediately employing techniques to begin projecting many scenes inside the martial hall. What Tianji True Lord was best at was divination and spying. Divination and spying are two aspects of abilities, and the latter allowed Tianji True Lord to see many secrets of the world. Deep within the Tianji True Lord's eyes, scenes of the martial hall began to emerge. The scenes started moving towards the depths of the martial hall. The Tianji True Lord saw the rituals and many martial Dao cultivators and believers who were step-by-step worshipping. The scenes the Tianji True Lord was watching finally reached the innermost part of the martial hall. This place was now empty. No one dared to cross into this area unless permitted by the martial ancestor. The grand hall was eerily silent, with a solemn atmosphere converging faintly. The Tianji True Lord looked around cautiously, spotting a figure sitting cross-legged at the end of the great hall. Is that the martial ancestor? The Tianji True Lord's mind shook. Immediately he began to delve deeper into his scrutiny. The view swiftly zoomed in closer. The Tianji True Lord wanted a closer look at the martial ancestor. Just then, the martial ancestor, who was sitting cross-legged, silently opened his eyes. All of Tianji True Lord's attention was drawn to those eyes. The next moment, the spying incarnation of the Tianji True Lord exploded instantly. Far away from the Tianqing world, a mysterious backlash, following the connection between the true body and the incarnation, descended. The original form of the Tianji True Lord suddenly began to tremble, starting to drop rapidly. That was the martial ancestor? Sar the Novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The Tianji True Lord trembled with fear in his heart, not hesitating as his figure surged into the sky, beginning to flee frantically towards even farther distances. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8:16 Child of the Void. Please subscribe. Space and time were twisting, with the Tianji True Lord ignoring the backlash endured, madly fleeing in the direction away from Tianqing world. As a master of wisdom, the perfect demon True Lord is not particularly outstanding in frontal combat, but in the art of escaping, much effort has been put in. At this moment, disregarding everything to invoke the power of space-time, crossing billions upon billions of light-years in an instant. Too terrifying. Is that the martial ancestor? Martial ancestor is that strong? Tianji True Lord was profoundly shaken in his heart. Originally, the Taiyin sovereign being so strong was already inconceivable. Source: web novel. Com, updated on N0 New 0. In the vast boundless void, there are only so few perfect demon True Lords. Suddenly, a Taiyin sovereign stronger than the average perfect demon True Lord appears? But now, Tianji True Lord realizes, the powerful Taiyin sovereign, who left many perfect demon True Lords helpless, was merely a pawn pushed to the forefront. Behind the scenes, the prime god manipulates everything, pushing everything forward. The one shaking the foundations of all evil gods in the boundless void, it's the martial ancestor. Just a distant glance a moment ago caused Tianji True Lord to suffer no light backlash. Tianji True Lord had no doubt that if his real body ventured in, it was very likely to be completely trapped. And to achieve this, a perfect demon True Lord of the 9th stage would not be nearly possible. Is that the 10th stage evil god of legends? No, if it were the 10th stage, why hide behind the scenes? Should it be an existence that is infinitely close to the 10th stage? Tianji True Lord's thoughts rapidly spun, and he breathed a slight sigh of relief. As long as it's not an entity of the 10th stage, then there is still room for redemption. Up to this point, in the vast boundless void, the only known existence of the 10th stage is the founder of the void's secret realm. Single-handedly, from gaps between dimensions outside of the void, he confined countless void creatures, turning them into nourishment for many evil gods. It's a pity. Ever since the founder opened the boundless void, he disappeared completely. Countless demonic divine masters of later generations are essentially chasing the footsteps of the founder. To strangle martial Tao, Taiyin sovereign is secondary, the main target is martial ancestor. Tianji True Lord held a heavy heart. I must join forces with all the perfect demon True Lords, and even need to awaken that one. Against the Taiyin sovereign, Tianji True Lord believed that 10 or 20 perfect demon True Lords would be enough. But martial ancestor? Tianji True Lord felt that summoning all the perfect demon True Lords would still leave him uncertain. At the critical moment, he could only awaken that one. And that one is the most powerful True Lord who inherited the Void's secret realm in the vast boundless void after the founder disappeared. Controlling the entire Void's secret realm, this most powerful True Lord can exert almost the strength of the 10th stage. At least in the boundless void, unless the founder returns, he is invincible. Dozens of breaths later, Tianji True Lord's expression slightly changed. Fleeing for so long, one would think he would have reached another familiar void domain. However, at this moment, the void environment where Tianji True Lord was seemed unchanged. The vast void, as if he had never moved. What's this? Tianji True Lord's face looked ugly. The next moment, changes in space-time. Tianji True Lord returned to that azure world once more, re-emerging before the dreadful and trembling figure deep within the martial hall. Only this time, it wasn't an avatar, but Tianji True Lord's real body in person. No, before Tianji True Lord could react, consciousness rapidly plunged into darkness. Deep in the martial hall, Lin Yuan was sitting cross-legged, watching the Tianji True Lord who had completely lost consciousness not far away. In fact, when Tianji True Lord sent out an avatar to sneak into Tianqing world, Lin Yuan had detected the other party, and the reason for not stopping and taking action at the time was to lock onto the real body of Tianji True Lord, until the avatar of Tianji True Lord came before the martial hall, continuously probing. Lin Yuan finally confirmed Tianji True Lord's real body, using spatio-temporal fusion rule mastery, quietly activating divine ability world, and stealthily transferring him into his own inner world. Tianji True Lord frantically fled, and dozens of breaths believed he escaped billions of light years, but in reality, all within Lin Yuan's inner world. Lin Yuan's inner world is only over 200 million miles in diameter, but cascading spatial layers spread out, forming a spatial-temporal maze, let alone Tianji True Lord escaping in dozens of breaths. Even tens of years, hundreds of years, thousands of years would not be enough to escape. How did he find this place? Lin Yuan looked surprised. The Taiyin primordial spirit roamed the boundless void, occupying world after world, propagating martial Tao, but he did not mention the origin of martial Tao, nor Lin Yuan, the martial ancestor. As for the flourishing martial Tao of Tianqing world over the past hundreds of thousands of years, compared to the whole boundless void, it's too insignificant. Concealed and protected by the ancestral demon tree, with martial Tao merely limited within Tianqing world, it would be hard to attract the attention of those perfect demon True Lords. I still can't leave without a trace. Lin Yuan thought to himself, somewhat as expected. Sarch * the novel fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. With the spread of martial Tao, it was only a matter of time before those perfect demon True Lords found this place. Lin Yuan had never thought to completely hide his existence, but to delay and buy more time for his cultivation. With my current spiritual will, coupled with illusion techniques, this perfect demon True Lord can be completely put to sleep. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Through karmic connections, Lin Yuan could sense that at a distant location, Tianji True Lord had left avatars or similar life-saving measures. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8:17 Child of the Void, please subscribe. _2 There should be located deep within the Void's secret realm, even Lin Yuan's Taiyang divine spirit cannot forcefully enter. Directly killing the Tianji True Lord's true body does not solve the issue of his avatar, but causing the Tianji True Lord's true body to fully fall into slumber. As the true body shares memories with the avatar, when the true body falls into slumber, so does the avatar. Although Lin Yuan was already prepared for his existence being discovered in the Tianqing world, it is better to delay this as much as possible. In fact, the mental will of Tianji True Lord is very strong, even stronger than Lin Yuan, But, unfortunately, his use of mental will is rather crude. Among human civilizations in the main world, one of the 9 strongest beings, the feather butterfly supreme being, excels at illusions, the ultimate existence based on illusions. Lin Yuan had long thoroughly researched the evolutionary path of feather butterfly, understanding many illusionary techniques thoroughly. Plunging Tianji True Lord fully into slumber was not difficult. They'll have a look at your memories. Lin Yuan, with his immense mental will, crafted a realistic illusion for Tianji True Lord to indulge in, naturally allowing him to browse through Tianji True Lord's own memories through the illusion if he wished. Xianxia the novel, at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Momentarily after, Lin Yuan appears contemplative. Boundless void, void's secret realm, that disappeared originator, and the child of the void, or should I say, void divine master? Through browsing the memories of Tianji True Lord, Lin Yuan's understanding of the entire boundless void instantaneously reached a terrifying extent. Tianji True Lord knew too many secrets, and now they all ended up benefiting Lin Yuan. Void divine master? Lin Yuan's expression turned somewhat solemn. The so-called Void Divine Master is currently the overseer of the Void's secret realm. The originator of the Void's secret realm, the only known 10th stage evil god from the boundless void, founded the Void's secret realm, bestowing infinite blessings to future generations of evil gods. And the Void Divine Master, also known as the Child of the Void, took over the reins of the Void's secret realm after the originator disappeared. The Child of the Void itself is not a 10th stage evil god, but by leveraging the Void's secret realm, can exert a power almost equivalent to the 10th stage, the strongest evil god within the vast boundless void. Controlling the Void's secret realm is indeed a bit troublesome. Lin Yuan thought with a slightly grave expression. At least, if the opposition utilizes the multiple spatial layers of the Void's secret realm, taking advantage of their home ground, even if Lin Yuan uses all his trump cards, he cannot kill the opposition. Even by employing the divine ability world, if the opponent hides within the Void's secret realm, it is still untouchable. The entire Void's secret realm can also be viewed as a colossal world. Moreover, the Void's secret realm affects an extremely vast area, even capable of influencing the entirety of the boundless void. According to the memories of Tianji True Lord, that Void Divine Master, most of the time, is plunged into slumber, deeply contemplating the origin source of the Void's secret realm, hoping to thereby step into the 10th stage, Lin Yuan secretly thought. To that child of the void, everything in the boundless void is within the grip of his hand, his only pursuit being to become the second originator of the Void's secret realm, to become a 10th stage evil god. Plenty of treasures indeed. Lin Yuan casually extracted many treasures from Tianji True Lord. After a casual inventory, placed them all within a certain part of his internal world, planning to, upon concluding the traversal, revert them with primal force back to the origin source, then integrate them into the origin clock, indirectly bringing them back to the main universe. Continue contemplating the secret skill Milky Way. I can feel that I am not far from comprehending the spatiotemporal fusion rule's sixfold realm. Lin Yuan closed his eyes, his body once again began rippling with the vast Milky Way composed entirely of space and time. Somewhere in the boundless void, the Eastern Wing Lord gathers with over a dozen complete demon true lords. How come Tianji hasn't replied to me for so long? The Eastern Wing Lord's brows slightly furrowed. He, following the instructions of Tianji True Lord, gathered other complete demon true lords, wanting to deal with that emerging Taiyin sovereign. Now everything was ready, but there was no contact from Tianji True Lord? This gave the Eastern Wing Lord a headache. According to the initial plan, during the ambush of the Taiyin sovereign, it must be commanded by Tianji True Lord. Only through Tianji True Lord's deduction and arrangement could they suppress the Taiyin sovereign with the smallest cost. Otherwise, even if the Taiyin sovereign was foolish, knowing that more than 10 complete demon true lords were approaching would have made him flee in advance, and in the vast boundless void, the Taiyin sovereign intent on escaping could eventually lead to a protracted battle. This would not align with Tianji True Lord's plan to suppress the Taiyin sovereign as quickly as possible, annihilating Marshal Tao. After all, once the situation becomes a protracted battle, various unexpected events can occur. Perhaps Tianji is delayed by some matter. Another complete demon true lord spoke. He is known as the Lord Divine Eye, possessing 18 eyes. Under normal circumstances, only one would be open. When all 18 eyes are open, it is the strongest state of Lord Divine Eye, also the time for a desperate fight. Throughout the long years of the boundless void, Lord Divine Eye has never had all 18 eyes open at once. As among complete demon true lords, fatal clashes rarely occur. Delayed by some matter? The Eastern Wing Lord's brow was tightly furrowed. Given his understanding of Tianji True Lord, such a possibility seemed very small. Moreover, what matter could prevent Tianji True Lord from even replying to him? No matter how big the issue, wouldn't it take just a moment to inform him, the Eastern Wing Lord? Let's wait a bit longer. Though the Eastern Wing Lord did not believe that Tianji True Lord was delayed by some issue, considering they couldn't contact him, this was the only possibility. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8:18 Child of the Void, please subscribe. _3" The Tianji True Lord last contacted me, saying he had discovered traces of the martial Tao origins. Perhaps he was delayed in his search for the martial Tao origins. The Eastern Wing Lord speculated in his heart, never had he anticipated any accidents befalling the Tianji True Lord. The Tianji True Lord is a perfect demon true lord with extremely strong life-preserving methods. Who could silently take down the Tianji True Lord without notice? Moreover, the Tianji True Lord has an incarnation placed in the deepest area of the void secret realm for the purpose of preserving life. If the Tianji True Lord indeed encountered any mishaps, the incarnation could still make contact with them. Then let's wait a bit longer. Lord Divine Eye glanced at the other demonic divine masters. Without the leadership of the Tianji True Lord, the dozen or so perfect demon true lords were not entirely confident they could besiege the Taiyin sovereign. And should they fail, the consequences would be severe, facing the full-force retaliation of the Taiyin sovereign. Let's wait. The Eastern Wing Lord nodded. By now, apart from waiting, there weren't any better options. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, another 50 years had gone by. It was still that piece of the void. The Eastern Wing Lord and the dozen or so perfect demon true lords were still gathered here. What on earth is going on? 50 years have passed, and Tianji has still not contacted me? The Eastern Wing Lord felt increasingly uneasy in his heart. To a demon lord, 50 years were but a fleeting moment, yet during this critical time to besiege the Taiyin sovereign, Tianji True Lord had not sent any message for 50 years, which was certainly irregular. Even if the Tianji True Lord was busy, could he really not spare a moment to reply to them in 50 years? What do we do? Lord Divine Eye asked with a grave expression, looking towards the Eastern Wing Lord for guidance. I will go to see Tianji True Lord's life-preserving incarnation. The Eastern Wing Lord spoke up. Tianji True Lord's mysterious disappearance to date, while the Eastern Wing Lord could not find his true body, he did know where the life-preserving incarnation was located. That was the deepest area of the void secret realm, which could be considered the core of the secret realm, a place theoretically absolutely safe. This was precisely why Tianji True Lord's incarnation left there could be aptly called a life-preserving incarnation. Go to see Tianzi's life-preserving incarnation? Lord Divine Eye was slightly stunned, immediately saying, "We cannot enter the deepest area of the void secret realm." If any perfect demon true lord could enter the location of the life-preserving incarnation, it could hardly be called life-preserving. I know. That's why I plan to awaken the great child of the void. The Eastern Wing Lord fell silent for a while before speaking. The child of the void? Lord Divine Eye and the other true lords' expressions changed. The child of the void is the master of the void secret realm. They cannot enter the deepest areas of the void secret realm, but the child of the void can. Currently, most of the perfect demon true lords were able to place their incarnations in the deepest part of the void's secret realm, becoming life-preserving incarnations because they were permitted by the child of the void. Aside from the life-preserving incarnations actively contacting the outside world, only the child of the void could forcefully make contact with the life-preserving incarnations. Are you sure? Lord Divine I asked seriously. Awakening the child of the void was no trivial matter. To awaken without cause was to receive punishment from the child of the void. I'm sure. The Eastern Wing Lord nodded. The Tianji True Lord had been missing for so long, there must be a serious issue. Even at the risk of receiving the child of the void's punishment, he needed to find clarity in this matter. If that is the case, we will head to the void's secret realm right now. Lord Divine I said immediately. Deep inside the void's secret realm. This place was already the limit that a normal evil god could explore. Further inside was a domain that they couldn't enter. It was the resting place of the strongest demonic divine masters of the boundless void. Great child of the void. The Eastern Wing Lord immediately began to call for the child of the void. As a perfect demon true lord, the Eastern Wing Lord naturally had the means to summon the child of the void, and most of the perfect demon true lords also had this capability. However, no perfect demon true lord dared to use this method lightly. After all, we are dealing with the child of the void. Woo woo woo, an invisible aura began to converge. In a daze, a tremendous will descended from the deepest part of the void's secret realm. Who is it? Who is awakening me? The entirety of the void's secret realm trembled slightly. At that moment, all the perfect demon true lords were shocked and looked towards this place, realizing immediately that the child of the void had awakened. An infinite power of the void's secret realm began to condense, forming a majestic figure that looked down upon Eastern Wing Lord and the dozen or so true lords. Greetings, child of the void. The Eastern Wing Lord immediately said respectfully. Although the child of the void was also a perfect demon true lord, with control over the void's secret realm, the strength of the child of the void was entirely above all other perfect demon true lords. For the Eastern Wing Lord and the other true lords, the child of the void was no different from the 10th stage evil gods. Speak. The majestic figure formed by the will of the child of the void looked on with a calm gaze. Yes. The Eastern Wing Lord quickly delineated the recent few hundred years of events, especially highlighting the disappearance of Tianji True Lord, expressly indicating a major problem arose. The Tian Sovereign? The martial Tao cultivation system? The child of the void was momentarily stunned, then revealed a trace of a smile. Interesting, I have never heard of the name Tian Sovereign. Even the great child of the void has not heard of it? The Eastern Wing Lord was slightly taken aback, assuming that the Tian Sovereign had accidentally fallen into the deepest part of the void's secret realm and cultivated to the 9th stage perfection there, so there had been no traces left in the boundless void. But if even the child of the void did not know of the Tian Sovereign, this possibility no longer stood. Xianxia the novel, the NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. You wish to inquire about Tianji? I shall question Tianzi's life-preserving incarnation now. The child of the void dispatched a wisp of will, descending to the deepest area of the void's secret realm, arriving at the location of Tianji True Lord's life-preserving incarnation. The child of the void's brow raised slightly, displaying a look of surprise. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8-19 Breakthrough. The Sixth Realm of Space-Time. Please subscribe. The child of the void's look of astonishment was not concealed and similarly caught the eyes of the Eastern Wing Lord and the other divine masters. Great child of the void, what happened to Tianji? How is he? The Eastern Wing Lord inquired cautiously. Tianji has fallen into slumber, even his life-preserving incarnation is asleep. With a thought from the child of the void, Tianji True Lord's life-preserving incarnation was transferred from the deepest area of the void's secret realm right before the eyes of the numerous demonic divine masters. Asleep? The Eastern Wing Lord could not comprehend. Tianji True Lord himself had strategically plotted every move to encircle and kill the Taiyin sovereign, and just when he was about to take action, he fell into slumber? If this wasn't coming from the mouth of the Child of the Void, the Eastern Wing Lord would never believe it. It was too absurd. He didn't fall into slumber on his own, he was forced into slumber. The Child of the Void closely observed Tianji True Lord's life-preserving incarnation and said, "Slumber involuntarily?" Eastern Wing Lord and Lord Divine Eye, as well as the other demonic divine masters, exchanged glances, feeling a chill in their hearts. Tianji True Lord is a perfect demon True Lord. In the vast boundless void, who could put Tianji True Lord into an unresisting slumber? To the point where not even a message could get out? How interesting, how interesting. I didn't expect something so interesting to happen in less than 10 billion years of slumber. The Child of the Void murmured to himself. Although Tianji True Lord was not good at direct confrontation, making him fall into slumber quietly was something that even the Child of the Void needed to borrow some power from the Void's secret realm to achieve. I'll awaken Tianji and ask him, then I'll know what's going on. The consciousness of the Child of the Void began to seep into the body of Tianji True Lord's life-preserving incarnation. Tianji True Lord was forced into slumber and could not wake up by his own power. But it was possible to awaken him through external stimulation, and of course, only the Child of the Void, who mastered the entire Void's secret realm, could do this. SAR the Novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Tianqing World. Deep within the Martial Hall. 50 years of arduous cultivation and enlightenment. Lin Yuan was now infinitely close to the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm. The Milky Way of space-time was rippling over Lin Yuan's body, like a miniature river of space-time. Your exceptional understanding has deepened your comprehension of the secret skill Milky Way and the spatiotemporal fusion rule. Your exceptional understanding has deepened your comprehension of the secret skill Milky Way and the spatiotemporal fusion rule. Your exceptional understanding has deepened your comprehension of the secret skill Milky Way and the spatiotemporal fusion rule. In a trance, Lin Yuan felt the world before his eyes change. The vast boundless void suddenly became extremely simple, consisting only of time and space. So that's how it is. Lin Yuan's mind surged with a tremendous amount of enlightening insights, almost breaking into the domain of the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm. And at this moment, inside his world, Tianji True Lord, who had been immersed in the grand illusion woven by Lin Yuan, suddenly opened his eyes. Am I awake? Have I escaped the illusion? Before Tianji True Lord had time to look around, his physical body and soul rapidly disintegrated. Noisy! Lin Yuan merely glanced at the spot where Tianji True Lord was within his inner world and continued his enlightenment. As he was at a critical time transitioning into the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm, Lin Yuan naturally did not allow any instability to arise within his inner world. Since Tianji True Lord had woken up at this time, regardless of what power he was relying on, direct eradication was the option. Space-time, how beautiful! Lin Yuan immersed his whole heart and soul into the comprehension of the essence of space-time. Deep within the Void's secret realm, under the gaze of the towering figure of the Child of the Void and the Eastern Wing Lord, as well as the other demonic divine masters, Tianji True Lord suddenly opened his eyes, not yet reacting before his expression dramatically changed, because he felt his true body had perished. Child of the Void. Seeing the towering figure looming over him, Tianji True Lord immediately said respectfully, "Tell me what exactly happened." The Child of the Void asked directly, his interest in Tianji True Lord's predicament growing. Over the long years as the master of the Void's secret realm, he had never felt any unexpected presence. Everything was under control. Yet now, from Tianji True Lord's behavior, the Child of the Void felt a curiosity that had disappeared for who knows how long. Yes, Tianji True Lord dared not defy the Child of the Void. In fact, he had no intention to conceal the truth and immediately revealed everything he knew. The Taiyin sovereign is not the mastermind behind the scenes. The spread of martial Tao is driven by the martial ancestor. The Taiyin sovereign is just the one pushed to the front by the martial ancestor? Without any reply from the child of the void, the Eastern Wing Lord and the other demonic divine masters nearby were stunned first. For them, the Taiyin sovereign was already strong enough, but behind him stood the martial ancestor whose strength was even greater than the Taiyin sovereign's. Even Tianji True Lord stood no chance against that martial ancestor? Indeed. I incarnated into the Tianqing world, and after a brief investigation, I learned that in that world, the heavens, the earth, and the spirits all worship the martial ancestor. They all revere the martial Tao. The Tianji True Lord nodded. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed any of this. The great child of the void, that martial ancestor, is unbelievably powerful. It is estimated that he is infinitely close to the 10th stage. Apart from you, child of the void, there is no other evil god in the boundless void who could resist him. The Tianji True Lord said respectfully to the towering figure. Even in the face of the martial ancestor, his own true body could not manage to flee, being directly suppressed, forced into slumber, leading the Tianji True Lord to develop an inexplicable fear of the martial ancestor. Infinitely close to the 10th stage? The child of the void's expression remained calm. To him, as long as it wasn't a 10th stage evil god, there was nothing to fear. With the void's secret realm under his control, he could sweep away all before him. Since that is the case, I shall go and see this martial ancestor for myself. The child of the void spoke immediately. Yes. The Tianji True Lord felt a slight relief within his heart. As long as the great child of the void took action, no matter how powerful that martial ancestor was, the outcome was already determined. The boundless void. In front of a large world. The forms of the child of the void and many other perfect demon true lords appeared. Child of the void, this world is one of the many worlds occupied by the Taiyin sovereign. The Tianqing world, where the martial ancestor presides, lies in that direction. The Tianji True Lord immediately spoke. His memory of the Tianqing world was indelibly deep. There was no chance of error. I understand. The child of the void's presence was like an ocean, as he nodded slightly. In that case, we will start with this world. Although the child of the void was very confident that no matter how powerful that martial ancestor was, he would not be his opponent, the description of the martial ancestor by the Tianji True Lord still made the child of the void refrain from underestimating him. Now that the child of the void had just awakened, the vast majority of his power was still slumbering, not yet fully revived. Thus, he planned to eliminate the worlds occupied by the martial Tao one by one on his way to the Tianqing world, taking the opportunity to end his dormant state and suppress the martial ancestor with his full glory. You go and draw out the Taiyin sovereign first. The child of the void commanded. Beyond wanting to meet the martial ancestor, he also wanted to have a look at this Taiyin sovereign. Since the Taiyin sovereign was a powerful figure brought into the light by the martial ancestor, he must be able to reveal some of the martial ancestor's techniques. Understood. Lord Divine I nodded and immediately manifested himself, arriving outside that large world. Taiyin sovereign, come out, come out, come out. Lord Divine I's voice traveled along space and time, and at that moment, all beings within the large world heard these words. Taiyin sovereign, come out, come out, come out. The terrifying sonic waves, mixed with the fluctuations of space and time, made all the beings within the world tremble from the depths of their souls. At the same time, the child of the void was covertly observing the beings within the world, especially the cultivators of the martial Tao. Not bad. The child of the void gave a slight nod, expressing approval. He had already learned from the Tianji True Lord about the threat and potential of the martial Tao cultivation system. Yet, upon personally seeing the cultivators of martial Tao and observing the martial Tao they practiced, the child of the void was still somewhat surprised. Evil gods could grow to a height where they destroy heavens and earth because of their intrinsic foundation and heritage. But what of the myriad beings, the insects of the world? They are but food for the evil gods. or perhaps not even worthy to be called food. Consequently, the martial Tao cultivation system allowed these insects the possibility of growing into threats to the evil gods. This cultivation system, distinct from the growth path of evil gods, surprised the child of the void. What a pity, the conclusion is already determined. The child of the void shook his head slightly. As long as he controlled the void's secret realm, these cultivators of martial Tao could not make significant waves. The great child of the void, that Taiyin sovereign has not shown himself, reported Lord Divine Eye as he returned and respectfully addressed the child of the void. Forget it, just destroy this world directly. The child of the void spoke, having observed for a brief time. His power had recovered a large part, already capable of mobilizing the full power of the void's secret realm. There was no need to waste more time here. Okay. Lord Divine Eye approached the world once again, spreading with martial Tao, and opened his large mouth. Space and time began to distort, intending to swallow the world whole. 7th stage and 8th stage evil gods needed time to devour a world bite by bite, but for a 9th stage perfect demon true lord like Lord Divine Eye, it only took one mouthful to engulf the world before him. Rumble, rumble. The world began to tremble. The beings within the world watched as a gaping maw appeared outside their world, biting down towards the entire world. Suddenly, at that moment, Lord Divine Eye's expression changed, and instantly he ceased the swallowing motion, allowing the about-to-be-devoured world to slowly shift back to its place. There, Lord Divine Eye gazed intently in a certain direction, precisely the one that Tianji True Lord had pointed out earlier, the Tianqing world where the martial ancestor was stationed. At this moment, within the sight of Lord Divine Eye's perception, ripples of space and time continuously spread from that direction, swiftly covering a large part of the boundless void. Not just Lord Divine Eye, all of the other perfect demon true lords were also simultaneously focusing on the source of the spatio-temporal fluctuations, their expressions extremely solemn. Such a change affecting the entire boundless void was almost unprecedented for most of them. Child of the void? The Tianji True Lord was the same, but he was the first to react, turning his head towards the child of the void standing by his side. However, the child of the void was no longer standing in his original place. Tianji True Lord looked around and found that, at some unknown point, the child of the void had already positioned himself in front of all the demon true lords, gazing in the direction of the Tianqing world, seemingly peering at the presence of some existence. The child of the void's gaze was solemn like never before, as if facing a formidable enemy. The heavens, the earth, and the spirits all honor the martial Tao. What the martial ancestor of martial Tao? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 8:20 Visiting Martial Ancestor, please subscribe. The child of the void stood towering, silently observing the direction of the Tianqing world. Even now, having mostly recovered his powers and able to mobilize the entire void's secret realm, with just a thought, he could suppress everything in the boundless void. Yet, the child of the void focused intently on the source of the temporal fluctuations, his mind filled with doubts and speculations. Behind him, the perfect demon true lords were similarly engaged, among them ancient beings whose existence spanned even beyond that of the child of the void, tracing back to before the void's secret realm was formed. This current temporal fluctuation seemed to have sparked a memory in the oldest of the demonic divine masters, a flicker of fear crossing their faces. Countless epochs had passed since the birth of the boundless void, with many demonic divine masters dominating their realms. But even the perfect demonic divine masters of the 9th stage could not fundamentally shake the boundless void. Historically, there had been 3 instances of such significant impact on the entire boundless void. The first was when the boundless void birthed its first 10th stage evil god, merging seamlessly with the rules of the boundless void, majestically mighty. The second instance was when this 10th stage evil god founded the void's secret realm, fundamentally altering the boundless void with its creation, leaving a profound impact. The third instance was when the child of the void became the new ruler of the void's secret realm, unleashing its power and causing temporal fluctuations throughout the boundless void. And now, there was a fourth instance. The temporal fluctuations originating from the Tianqing world hinted at engulfing the entirety of the boundless void. There was a common factor in all four instances: they were related to the 10th stage. During the third instance, the child of the void had assumed control of the void's secret realm. Although not yet stepping into the 10th stage himself, the void's secret realm had been painstakingly established by a being of the 10th stage. It was closely linked to the 10th stage. This temporal fluctuation? Is it the 10th stage? Has the boundless void birthed another 10th stage existence? Yes, this feeling reminds me of the time when the founder of the void's secret realm stepped into the 10th stage. The effects on space-time were similar to now. The perfect demon true lords were shocked. They had thought that the child of the void, the next to ascend to the 10th stage in the boundless void, had, after all, the child of the void controlled the void's secret realm, which was fully created by the previous 10th stage evil god. Being constantly in tune with the very essence of the void's secret realm, the child of the void had a greater likelihood of stepping into the 10th stage than any other perfect demon true lord. But now? S.E.A. the Novel Fire. N.E*T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The child of the void stood right before them. Did this mean that someone else had entered into the 10th stage? Could it be that martial ancestor from Tianqing world? Tianji True Lord felt a chill. The sources of the temporal fluctuations were blatant, with no intent to conceal, perceivable to any 9th stage demonic divine masters. Tianji True Lord had personally visited Tianqing world, estimating that the source of the fluctuations was near there. With the martial ancestor stationed in Tianqing world, it was difficult for Tianji True Lord not to speculate about him causing these vast temporal disruptions within the boundless void. Martial ancestor? 10th stage? Tianji True Lord was fraught with fear. He had, not long ago, gathered a group of evil gods to attack Taiyin sovereign, even venturing into Tianqing world to spy on the martial ancestor's stronghold. Looking back, it seemed a perilous venture. Great child of the void, what should we do now? Lord Divine I mustered his courage and asked cautiously. He had nearly swallowed that world whole but stopped abruptly due to the temporal fluctuations. The shock was evident. Lord Divine Eye's inquiry turned everyone's gaze toward the child of the void. What should we do? The child of the void remained silent. Unlike the other evil gods who only sensed the source of the temporal fluctuations, the child of the void, controlling the void's secret realm, perceived much more acutely. With the power of the void's secret realm, his gaze had even fallen onto Tianqing world. If not for the rich presence of space-time powers within Tianqing world, which made him wary, the child of the void might have even considered a forceful investigation. Let's go and see. The child of the void slowly proposed. Regardless of whether the martial ancestor had achieved the 10th stage, he would make the journey. If the martial ancestor truly became a 10th stage existence, the child of the void would certainly lead the demonic divine masters to demonstrate their allegiance. Inevitably, as the ruler of the void's secret realm, the child of the void was acutely aware of the terror a 10th stage being could inspire. Admittedly, with the aid of the void's secret realm, the child of the void believed he could exhibit the combat power of the 10th stage. But to contend with a true 10th stage being, the child of the void had no assurance. If he couldn't contend, then he must offer his submission. In the realm of the evil gods, the law of the jungle dictated the weak serve the strong. If the martial ancestor had not ascended to the 10th stage, the child of the void had no intention of being hostile. This visit would be to ease relations with the martial ancestor. The current temporal fluctuation, even if not indicative of an ascension to the 10th stage, hinted at something akin to handling relics comparable to the void's secret realm, a legacy of a 10th stage being. Just as the child of the void controlled the void's secret realm. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 821 Visiting Martial Ancestor. Please subscribe. _2 In this situation, even if the child of the void gave it his all, he couldn't do anything about the martial ancestor, so it was better to turn hostility into friendship. At the level of the child of the void, the vast boundless void made his true desire to enter the 10th stage, and everything else appeared illusory. Let's go. The child of the void glanced at the many demonic divine masters, then directly used the power of the void's secret realm to start long-distance teleportation, heading towards Tianqing World. Tianqing World. Deep within the martial hall. At this moment, intense spatio-temporal fluctuations filled the air. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. The volatile power of space and the obscure power of time in front of him were as obedient as kittens, allowing themselves to be manipulated. So, this is the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm? A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. Now that he had comprehended the spatio-temporal fusion rule and had thoroughly entered the sixth realm, he had stepped into the realm of the Supreme. Of course, it was only in terms of comprehension of space-time, barely reaching the level of the Supreme, but in terms of actual strength, the gap with the Supreme was still as insurmountable as the Grand Canyon. If the comprehension of the spatio-temporal fusion rule was a kind of skill, then factors affecting strength included not only skill but also inherent power. Under the same skill level, if one's strength was 100 pounds and another's was 100 tons, the outcome of their battle would undoubtedly be a crushing defeat for the former. Moreover, the space-time fusion sixfold realm was only the threshold for the Supreme in the domain of spatio-temporal fusion rules. Apart from this fusion rule, the Supreme had mastered many other fusion rules, even transforming a certain pillar rule into a personal path. The space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm is a qualitative change, involving the power to break free from the bounds of the river of time. Lin Yuan carefully observed the vast expanse of space-time, with numerous insights welling up in his heart. The space-time fusion sixfold realm was hailed as the domain of the Supreme because, at this height, the spatio-temporal fusion rule had already begun to condense into a micro-river of space-time. Lin Yuan had no doubt that if he wished, he now had the ability to impact the ultimate realm. The 10,000 races of the cosmic starry sky generally believed that only by reaching the 11th rank peak could one attempt to reach the ultimate realm, because only an 11th rank peak life form barely met the threshold of the ultimate realm challenge. But Lin Yuan, though he was only at the 10th stage, he was no different from those 11th rank peak life forms, and in certain aspects, he was even stronger, such as in the understanding of the spatio-temporal fusion rule and in the mind and will index. Of course, Lin Yuan indeed had the ability to impact the ultimate, but whether he could succeed was another matter. At the very least, even now, if Lin Yuan directly attempted the ultimate, his likelihood of success would be slightly higher than that of legendary beings like the four divine kings, due to the heavy influence of his comprehension of the space-time fusion rule at the sixth realm and a high mind and will index. My inner world. Lin Yuan's will descended into his inner world. The greatest impact of reaching the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm on Lin Yuan was reflected in his inner world. Within the inner world, the fusion of space-time had vaguely condensed into a micro-river of space-time. The emergence of the micro-river of space-time, even though just a prototype, already altered the aura of the inner world. It's a pity that the inner world still hasn't broken its limit, exceeding a radius of 2-3 billion miles. Lin Yuan felt a bit regretful but quickly accepted it. The main universe's 10,000 races strong individuals, based on the limits of their own racial bloodlines, generally had inner worlds that ranged from millions to tens of millions of miles in radius. Lin Yuan's inner world, with a radius of 2-3 billion miles, had far surpassed any life in the main universe, including those unique special life forms. With my current understanding of the space-time fusion rule, if I aimed for the 11th rank, enduring the chaos void origin infusion, could I break the shackles of my inner world? Lin Yuan speculated in his mind. Normally, an 11th rank peak's attempt to reach the ultimate realm, Enduring the chaos void origin infusion would cause a significant leap in the essence of life, freeing from the bindings of the river of time, and the inner world would develop towards an inner universe. All aspects of the inner world would break their former constraints. The Supreme's inner universe, in terms of diameter, would start from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of light years. This was why Lin Yuan, even having comprehended the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm, had no thought of being on par with the Supreme. The gap was too vast. With an inner universe of tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of light years, the amount of power that could be mobilized was unimaginable. We'll find out when it comes time to challenge the 11th rank. Lin Yuan pondered for a while, then stopped thinking about it. The conditions he currently had were unprecedented, neither within human civilization nor throughout the 10,000 races of the cosmic starry sky, or even in the long stretches of prior cosmic eras, could a precedent be found. 9th rank impacting 10th rank, enduring chaos void origin infusion, 10th stage comprehending the space-time fusion rule's sixfold realm. Mind and will index over 24 million at the 10th stage. An inner world diameter reaching 3 billion miles. And so on. Any one of these conditions placed on a particular life form could dominate one or even several cosmic eras. Search * the novel fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Were they now all concentrated in Lin Yuan? The future was entirely unpredictable. Outside Tianqing world, the child of the void and many perfect demon true lords appeared successively. Is this the source of spatio-temporal fluctuations? That being suspected of stepping into the 10th stage is in such a small world? This is incredible. One by one, the perfect demon true lords whisper to each other. Ordinarily, the stronger the life form, the higher its requirements for its residing space. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 822 Visiting Martial Ancestor, please subscribe. _3 Like these perfect demon true lords, most are either roaming the boundless void or dwelling long in the void secret realm. As for cowering within a single world, that would be too stifling. Tianqing world. The child of the void carefully observed the Tianqing-colored world in its original location. Intense fluctuations of space-time were almost overflowing, and under such fluctuations, the child of the void was entirely unable to obtain any slight information about the Tianqing world, unable to reverse time to glimpse the past of the Tianqing world. Is it truly entering the 10th stage, or like me, becoming the keeper of some 10th stage legacy treasure? The child of the void did not reach a conclusion. Although whichever possibility it was, he would no longer oppose the martial ancestor, it decided the child of the void's final attitude towards the martial ancestor. Great child of the void, should I go inform that martial ancestor that we are right outside? Lord Divine Eye glanced and tentatively asked. Inform the martial ancestor? The child of the void glanced at Lord Divine Eye. Even if it was not possible to determine right now which possibility the martial ancestor actually was, even if it was the lowest possibility, he was still in existence at the same level as the child of the void. Under such circumstances, go inform the martial ancestor? The child of the void naturally wasn't foolish. Facing weaker ones, he was naturally absolutely domineering, but facing at least an equal existence like the martial ancestor, who might even surpass him. Tia the novel and at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The child of the void knew what to do. We just wait here. The child of the void said indifferently. With the martial ancestor's strength, he must have already noticed their arrival. If he wanted to meet, he would naturally appear. If he didn't want to meet, even if Lord Divine Eye went to inform, they wouldn't be able to meet. Yes, Lord Divine Eye steadied his spirit, and also knew that his previous words were inappropriate. Tianqing world. The appearance of the child of the void and many demonic divine masters, although they tried as much as possible to conceal their aura, and were waiting quite far away from the world, still, It influenced the creatures within the world. There was no help. The suppression coming from the demonic divine masters was simply too strong, especially the cohort of perfect demonic divine masters, as well as the existence of the child of the void, who governed the void secret realm. At this moment, any demonic divine master standing outside the world possessed the strength to easily swallow the entire Tianqing world. Are those demonic divine masters? Great Priest Qingyao briefly connected mentally with the ancestral demon tree, sensing the vague outlines of the child of the void and many demonic divine masters, and her spirit trembled uneasily. The intense fluctuations of space-time originating deep within the martial hall, in the eyes of the perfect demonic divine masters, appeared as conspicuous as the great sun in the sky, but to the creatures within the world, they were completely imperceptible. The gap in levels was simply too vast. The ordinary beings couldn't even perceive the basic spatial fluctuations, not to mention the fusion of time and space. However, although Great Priest Qingyao couldn't discern the changes coming deep within the martial hall, she distinctly felt, at this moment outside the world, the terrifying contours of each demonic divine master. The aura revealed by any demonic divine master's contour could destroy the Tianqing world hundreds to thousands of times, as remembered by Great Priest Qingyao. It's over. Great Priest Qingyao felt completely hopeless. Hundreds of years ago, facing the invasion of the magic eye and myriad tentacle stream, she still had the courage to resist or even undertake a fight to mutual destruction. But now, the indescribable contours of the demonic divine masters outside the world stifled even the thought of resistance in Great Priest Qingyao. The only thing Great Priest Qingyao couldn't understand was why those inexpressibly powerful demonic divine masters were now quietly standing outside the world, showing no hint of making a move. Deep within the martial hall, Lin Yuan carefully sensed the changes within himself, as a miniature formation of a river of space-time began taking shape inside his internal world, causing his internal world to begin transforming, which in turn greatly elevated Lin Yuan's physical and soul capacities. As for the will of the heart, the body nurtures the soul, and the soul nurtures the will of the heart. Logically, the transformation of the internal world would also affect the will of the heart. But Lin Yuan's will of the heart was now incredibly strong, having reached an all-encompassing level, thus barely undergoing any change. Lin Yuan's current strength of will, he estimated, would only be impacted when attempting to break through the 11th stage, or perhaps directly during the ultimate breakthrough. The stronger the will of the heart, the more difficult it is to enhance, especially reaching 10 million points, which can't be improved just by experiencing the passage of time. Before reaching 10 million points in the will of the heart index, the longer one lives, the greater the impact on the will of the heart, but once past 10 million points, this impact rapidly diminishes. Those demonic divine masters have come. Lin Yuan scanned outside the world. With his current level, he had already sensed the presence of those demonic divine masters, including the child of the void within his perception. For Lin Yuan, the existence of the child of the void was quite special. He was connected with that void secret realm, able to resonate at any moment between the two. Never mind, let's deal with them first. Lin Yuan stood up, took a step forward, and appeared outside the martial hall. Martial ancestor. Seeing Lin Yuan, Great Priest Qingyao immediately spoke with utmost gravity. Many powerful demonic divine masters suddenly appeared outside, no matter. Lin Yuan shook his head and said, "They are here to pay respects to me." Ah! Great Priest Qingyao was somewhat slow to react. Those indescribably terrifying demonic divine masters were here to pay respects to the martial ancestor? To pay respects? Outside the world, the child of the void and many demonic divine masters quietly waited. Including the child of the void, no demonic divine master revealed any signs of impatience. At that moment, whoosh! An intangible wave of space-time arrived, appearing before all the demonic divine masters, as a perfectly formed young man congealed, his eyes calm as the ocean of time and space, gazing at the many demonic divine masters. The body Lin Yuan was inhabiting was formed through 10,000 years of cultivation by the ancestral demon tree using the origin source of the Tianqing world, naturally reaching a perfectly flawless state in all aspects, not a single flaw to be found. Martial ancestor has come. The moment all the demonic divine masters saw Lin Yuan, their level of nervousness escalated to the highest, incredibly cautious and earnest. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 823 Wherever the Mind Goes, It Reaches, Please subscribe, Beyond This World. In the boundless void, Lin Yuan stood quietly, his gaze serenely observing the many demonic divine masters. And all demonic divine masters likewise cautiously surveyed Lin Yuan. Lord Divine Eye, Eastern Wing Lord, and other perfect demon true lords faintly sensed an endless surge of the power of space-time emanating from Lin Yuan's body, observing the martial ancestor as if observing the immense boundless void. The majestic power of space-time poured continuously towards the deep recesses of the spatial layers, thereby affecting the surrounding time and space, condensing out its own home field advantage. I was just like the relationship between the child of the void and the void's secret realm. The difference was that the void's secret realm of the child of the void came from the realm's creator, while Lin Yuan relied entirely on his own influence. This scene made the hearts and minds of all demonic divine masters on the field tremble, and in the end, they didn't even dare to continue their furtive observations. The aura of the martial ancestor is too terrifying. In front of him, I can't even muster up the courage to strike, thought one perfect demon true lord after another. Thankfully, the great child of the void has no intention of engaging with the martial ancestor, otherwise wouldn't we just be cannon fodder? As perfect demon true lords with mastery over numerous bizarre abilities, death was difficult even if they sought it, but once involved in a fight related to the 10th stage, they could only resign themselves to fate. Too powerful, many times stronger than what my incarnated spirit saw decades ago. Tianji True Lord's scalp exploded, subconsciously moving back. It feels like even the great child of the void is somewhat inferior. I wonder if the martial ancestor has really stepped into the 10th stage? Thinking this, Tianji True Lord instinctively glanced at the child of the void. Whether the martial ancestor had stepped into the 10th stage, these perfect demon true lords couldn't tell. For both Tianji True Lord and Eastern Wing Lord, they could only feel the martial ancestor's strength, and it would require no effort to kill them. That was all. And this, the child of the void could achieve by leveraging the power of the void's secret realm. Therefore, the many demonic divine masters had no way to know exactly what level the martial ancestor was at. To judge the martial ancestor's true power, only the child of the void, holder of the void's secret realm, could be certain. This, the child of the void also observed the martial ancestor closely in the void. There's no aura of any treasure left by existences of the 10th stage, the child of the void thought to himself. In fact, as soon as he felt that spatial temporal fluctuation, he believed that the possibility of the martial ancestor stepping into the 10th stage was greater than that of the martial ancestor coming into possession of treasures left by existences of the 10th stage. Thus far, the only known 10th stage existence in the boundless void was the creator of the void's secret realm. The child of the void, as the new holder of the void's secret realm, did not believe that the creator had left behind any treasures comparable to the void's secret realm. Even if the martial ancestor fulfilled all sorts of prerequisite conditions for becoming the possessor of a 10th stage legacy treasure, there wouldn't be a 10th stage legacy treasure available to him. But until seeing for himself, everything was unknown. The child of the void only speculated those two possibilities. I have seen the martial ancestor. The child of the void bowed slightly toward Lin Yuan. Without any aura of a treasure left by the 10th stage, it meant that the degree of the power of spacetime Lin Yuan emitted was completely on his own. That is to say, the martial ancestor had indeed stepped into the 10th stage, becoming the second 10th stage powerhouse in the history of this boundless void. Such an existence was worth the veneration of this bow from the child of the void. I have seen the martial ancestor. I have seen the martial ancestor. I have seen the martial ancestor. Seeing this, the other many perfect demon true lords did not hesitate to follow the child of the void in bowing to Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan swept a glance at the many demonic divine masters, with no surprise whatsoever. In the face of absolute power, any rebellion is meaningless. The more powerful the demonic divine master, the clearer this truth is. Therefore, the submission of the many demonic divine masters, in Lin Yuan's heart, was completely expected. In fact, even if these demonic divine masters didn't submit, it wouldn't affect Lin Yuan at all. He would simply annihilate all those who didn't submit. And wouldn't all the remaining be those who submitted? The martial ancestor wishes to spread martial Tao, and I am willing to cooperate. The child of the void immediately declared its position. Since Taiyin sovereign was put forth as a publicly recognized powerhouse by the martial ancestor, that meant that the spread of martial Tao must originate from the martial ancestor himself. Under such circumstances, the child of the void naturally expressed its stance in a timely manner. Although saying so, the spread of martial Tao would enable the beings within worlds regarded as food by the demonic divine masters to grow further in strength, potentially having the capacity to rival demonic divine masters in the future. But the child of the void was clear in its heart. If they were to prevent the spread of martial Tao, it was likely that the demonic divine masters wouldn't have a future, as they would be slaughtered cleanly by the martial ancestor. Perhaps the child of the void, by harnessing the power of the void's secret realm, could hide in the deepest recesses of the realm and cling on to life, but for other demonic divine masters, it was less certain. At least the boundless void outside of the void's secret realm would completely become the domain of martial Tao cultivators, and even a large portion of the void's secret realm itself would be occupied by the martial ancestor. So, the child of the void simply chose to cooperate with the martial ancestor, because even the worst outcome would not be as bad as standing in complete opposition to the martial ancestor. To spread martial Tao, ceding half of the domains within the boundless void and the void's secret realm will suffice. Lin Yuan slowly spoke, stating his demands. Actually, with Lin Yuan's strength, even if he completely occupied the boundless void, neither the child of the void nor the numerous demonic divine masters would dare to say anything. However, doing so would not be beneficial for the development of martial Tao itself. Without the oppression of the foreign evil gods, within the many worlds of the boundless void, those martial Tao cultivators would lack pressure, and the probability of high-level martial Tao cultivators being born would greatly decrease. Not everyone possesses Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, able to smoothly break through with just a simple closed-door cultivation. The vast majority of martial Tao cultivators will be trapped before certain shackles for most of their lives. Without external stimulation, they may never step into the next realm in their entire lifetime. Of course, such actions from Lin Yuan would lead to the increased casualties of martial Tao cultivators, with countless martial Tao cultivators perishing in the struggle against the evil gods. But is Lin Yuan a nanny? To fight for half the territory of this boundless void for all beings that are considered food, and then be responsible for their safety? From beginning to end, Lin Yuan had only one goal. That is to spread martial Tao, to let as many living beings practice martial Tao as possible, and to give birth to more high-level martial Tao cultivators. The importance of the latter even surpasses the former. In Lin Yuan's heart, as long as 1/5 rank or 6th rank martial Tao cultivator can be born, it is worth the death of 100,000 or even 1,000,000 4th rank or 5th rank martial Tao cultivators. Even if the evil gods in the boundless void could not practice martial Tao, Lin Yuan would be more willing to shelter the evil gods. After all, with their average talent and aptitude, once they practiced martial Tao, their starting point would be far beyond what the living beings within the world could compare to. Just taking away half of the boundless void and the void's secret realm. Apart from providing enough pressure for martial Tao cultivators, stimulating martial Tao to develop more vigorously, Lin Yuan also had another purpose, which was to maintain the balance between the evil gods and martial Tao cultivators in the boundless void as much as possible. Once the spatio-temporal fusion rule reached the sixth realm, Lin Yuan could see through the essence of this boundless void at a glance. That is the origin of the evil gods. Evil gods are nurtured from the boundless void, meaning the evil gods are endless. Even if Lin Yuan had the ability to slaughter all evil gods, after tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of years, a new batch of evil gods would still be bred. These evil gods are inherently powerful, even capable of reaching the 8th stage or 9th stage in a short period by devouring their own kind. By then, the newly born evil gods, finding that most of the outer space is occupied by weak beings, will inevitably stir up a new war. And Lin Yuan cannot be residing permanently in this boundless void, even though every descent only consumes a third of a strand of world-breaking origin force. But it would still be painful if done many times. Leaving half of the territory to these evil gods would save Lin Yuan a lot of trouble. At least, the evil gods and martial Tao cultivators can maintain balance, and as the long years pass, under the oppression of the evil gods, martial Tao cultivators will gradually become stronger, and the evil gods themselves also have their own territories. Naturally, they won't recklessly fight to the death with martial Tao cultivators. No problem. The child of the void didn't even think about it and agreed directly. Half of the territory of the boundless void, half of the territory of the void's secret realm. It seems that the entire evil god clan would lose half of their growth space, but in reality, as long as they can stabilize martial ancestor, a 10th stage existence, it's not really a cost at all. There is another matter. Lin Yuan looked at the child of the void and spoke again. Please speak, martial ancestor. Don't say one matter, even if there are 10 or 100, I agree. The child of the void put up a very low stance, almost obliging any request. It's just this one thing. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. He was merely a passerby in this world. As long as the legacy of martial Tao didn't perish, that would be enough. Why would he have 10 or 100 matters? The deepest space of the void's secret realm should contain the remnant items of the realm's creator. I plan to take a look. Lin Yuan said, looking at the child of the void. Once the spatio-temporal fusion rule reached the sixth realm, many secrets of this boundless void unfolded before Lin Yuan, including the one about the creator of the void's secret realm. The deepest space of the secret realm? The child of the void was stunned for a moment and then immediately nodded. No problem. The deepest space of the void's secret realm indeed contained traces of the realm's creator, but the child of the void, having observed for who knows how many tens of thousands of years, still did not understand. Lin Yuan wanted to go and see. Naturally, the child of the void didn't dare refuse. Then I will send martial ancestor in now. The child of the void immediately said. The deepest space of the void's secret realm could only be entered by him, the holder of the realm, and no other powerful beings could enter. No need. CTH novel, F.I.R. at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. No need. The child of the void was somewhat puzzled. Didn't he say he wanted to go in and take a look? Why not now? I can go in by myself. Lin Yuan stepped out and disappeared on the spot. Once Lin Yuan, who reached the sixth realm of spatio-temporal fusion rule, was within this boundless void, he could be anywhere his mind wished to be. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 824 The Deceased Pioneer of the Mystic Realm, added release, asking for monthly tickets at the beginning of the month. The boundless void is vast and immense, but in Lin Yuan's eyes, with a mere thought, he could appear anywhere. This is an ability that comes with attaining a certain mastery over space and time. Lin Yuan, in the sixfold realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules, has already stepped into the threshold of the mighty. The void's secret realm lies deep within the multilayered spatial layers of the boundless void, surrounded by spatial-temporal mazes. Even for sect master Duan Xie, who is at level 11 perfect, He would need to rely on a scroll token to enter. But these spatial-temporal mazes cannot stop Lin Yuan. When he was in the 5-layered realm of space-time fusion rules, Lin Yuan could already forcefully enter the Void Secret Realm. Now, in the space-time fusion rules 6-fold realm, the entire Void Secret Realm, inside and out, every single area, holds no secrets before Lin Yuan. It's like his own backyard. Even if Lin Yuan wished to, he could completely create a new Void Secret Realm. One that is even more perfect and grander than the original. The 10th stage evil gods of the boundless void, to a certain degree, have also just barely reached the 6th realm in their understanding of space and time. But such 6th realm is based on innate talent. Unlike Lin Yuan, who comprehended the 6-fold realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules from scratch entirely through his Against Heaven's understanding, there is still a significant gap in that respect. Enter by myself? The child of the void is utterly astonished. The Void Secret Realm is the result of its creator's painstaking efforts. Even if Lin Yuan stepped into the 10th stage, forcefully entering the Void Secret Realm isn't doubted by the child of the void. However, to think of descending into the core area of the Secret Realm without his permission, do they really think that the painstaking efforts of the Secret Realm creator are mere paper? But the next moment, the child of the void, the holder of the Secret Realm, vaguely felt the presence of the martial ancestor descending into the deepest area of the Void's Secret Realm and appearing without warning at the core. In that process, many spatio-temporal barriers and traps in the Secret Realm, in front of the martial ancestor, didn't even have the chance to be activated, as if the martial ancestor and he himself were both masters of the Void's Secret Realm. The child of the void's face slightly pales. In fact, even when the child of the void knew that the martial ancestor had stepped into the 10th stage, he still was somewhat confident. If the martial ancestor's demands were truly excessive, such as planning to completely enslave him, or having thoughts of killing him to seize the void's secret realm, the child of the void would definitely refuse. He could just hide in the core area of the deepest part of the void's secret realm, where even a being of the 10th stage would not forcibly enter. This was also one of the few pieces of information left to him, the heir of the secret realm, by its creator. The creation of the void secret realm was based on the boundless void. Unless one completely surpasses the creator in the understanding of space and time, another being of the 10th stage couldn't entirely occupy the void secret realm. But now, the child of the void realized just how laughable his final trump card was before the martial ancestor. If it weren't for his still retained control over the void secret realm, the child of the void almost thought the realm had changed hands. Fortunately, I didn't say too much earlier. The child of the void greatly relieves inwardly, thankful that he hadn't immediately agreed to the martial ancestor earlier, instead choosing to use the secret realm as his last resort to negotiate terms with the martial ancestor. Otherwise, the ending waiting for him probably wouldn't have been good. The child of the void has no doubts the martial ancestor would kill him. Among such mighty beings, who doesn't reign supreme? Before the martial ancestor, the previous holders of the void secret realm did the same. Did the martial ancestor not notice me? Tianji True Lord greatly relieved. Among the numerous evil gods at the scene, he had the biggest connection with the martial ancestor. Not only did he send an incarnation to infiltrate the Tianqing world and was suppressed on sight by the martial ancestor, but he also planned many evil god true lords to ambush the Taiyin sovereign. And given the relationship between Taiyin sovereign and the martial ancestor, it would be only too normal for the martial ancestor to kill Tianji True Lord. Perhaps in the eyes of the martial ancestor, he has never truly acknowledged me. Tianji True Lord doesn't know whether to be glad or disappointed. He considers his wisdom significant, but before such absolute power of the martial ancestor, even the greatest wisdom is pale and weak. In the deepest area of the void secret realm, Lin Yuan is idly observing the surroundings. Before reaching the 6th realm of space-time, the Taiyang divine spirit often ventured within the realm, yet still unable to break through several barriers deep in the realm. But now Lin Yuan just stepped in with a stride. The 10th stage evil gods, in mastering the power of space-time, are about the same as the sixth realm, but they are lacking in the finer details compared to the sixth realm, Lin Yuan concluded after observing the void secret realm for a while. This is the difference between relying on innate talent and solely on one's own capabilities. In the early stages, evil gods could overpower martial Tao cultivators. But as the strength and realm continue to increase, this gap will quickly narrow and eventually turn in favor. But where exactly did that creator of the secret realm go to? Lin Yuan is slightly curious. A 10th stage evil god, existing between level 11 perfect to level 12 in the main universe. Such a mighty life form, even placed in the main universe, could live from the creation to the collapse and destruction of the universe, completing an entire cosmic era. This boundless void has clearly not yet experienced destruction and collapse, as the legends of the secret realm's creator still exist, and the void secret realm is also present, so theoretically, the creator of the secret realm should still be alive. Originally, Lin Yuan thought that the creator of the secret realm was hidden in some corner, asleep, but after stepping into the sixth realm of space-time fusion rule, Lin Yuan searched the entire boundless void but could not find any trace of the creator of the secret realm. Here. Lin Yuan looked around. He was now at the core area of the deepest part of the void secret realm, which was a vast desert environment. Lin Yuan was standing in the middle of the desert. In front of him stood several huge stone pillars. Lin Yuan's gaze swept over those huge stone pillars, which retained some information left by the creator of the secret realm, simply instructing the future controllers of the secret realm on some matters. Regarding the methods of refining control of the void secret realm, and allowing the future controllers of the secret realm to continue to open the secret realm, to elevate the spiritual wills of many evil gods in the boundless void, and so on. This creator of the secret realm is rather benevolent. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. The creation of the void secret realm offered virtually no benefits for the 10th stage creator. The beneficiaries were all those evil gods of 8th and 9th stage. After all, killing the void creatures within the secret realm can genuinely enhance one's own spiritual will. And the evil gods are already full of various kinds of madness. With strong spiritual will, they are even more likely to maintain their sanity. Soon, Lin Yuan had looked over all the stone pillars, and his gaze fell back on the first stone pillar. This stone pillar had no specific information, only a complex pattern, which Lin Yuan initially didn't pay much attention to. A pattern that connects to a hidden space? Lin Yuan closely observed and finally used the power of space-time to activate the power of the pathways. Buzzing. A faint suction enveloped Lin Yuan. With Lin Yuan's strength, a single thought could break free from this suction force, but he didn't. Swoosh. Lin Yuan appeared on a mountaintop, and sitting on a boulder in the distance was a figure. The figure wore a gray robe, only 4 to 5 meters tall, and at first glance seemed lifeless like a dry wood, also without ears or nose, having only 5 eyes and a mouth. You must have also stepped into the 10th stage to have discovered this hidden space, the gray-robed figure slowly spoke. So, is this the creator of the secret realm? Lin Yuan looked at the gray-robed figure, realizing it was only a residual image, similar to the programs in the main universe human civilization, triggered by any life form entering it. I do not know what era it is now, but in my boundless void, the emergence of a second 10th stage being is a good thing. A fortunate event, the gray-robed figure continued. The words spoken by the gray-robed figure were not a language but mental vibrations, comprehensible to any living being. A second 10th stage? Lin Yuan's expression was unchanging. After stepping into the 10th stage, I could feel the suppression from the boundless void, and also a fear from distant ages hence. I will die, if not now, then later. The gray-robed figure said. Lin Yuan listened silently. Even in the main universe, as long as one has not made the ultimate leap to free oneself from the shackles of the river of time, even the most powerful life forms will die. It's not a matter of lifespan, but when the universe collapses and destroys, the river of time will also collapse, and then all lives within it, unless they have broken free from the river's shackles, will be destroyed alongside it. The fear of death that the creator of the secret realm felt likely came from the end of this boundless void and the river of time entering destruction in a distant future. My intuition tells me if I want to continue to live, I must attempt that step. The gray-robed figure said, his tone revealing a slight fluctuation of anticipation and fear. That step. Lin Yuan pondered internally, which probably meant the ultimate leap, but as there were no predecessors in this boundless void, the gray-robed figure had no idea what realm he was actually trying to break into. So he referred to it as that step. Attempting that step, I feel it's extremely dangerous, but without attempting, I'm sure to die, so I have no choice, the gray-robed figure continued to speak. It likely failed, Lin Yuan thought to himself. Now he finally understood why he could not find any trace of the creator of the secret realm throughout the entire boundless void. Attempting the ultimate would take one's everything, including the life marks imprinted in this void, completely out of the river of time, and if it failed, one would totally disappear without leaving any trace. If the creator of the secret realm had succeeded in the leap and become ultimate, he definitely would have returned to the boundless void. Sia the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Now, after such a long time without any news of him, it can only mean failure. So, before attempting the leap, I decided to leave something for this boundless void, spent my energy to create this void secret realm, and penned away the interstitial life forms outside the void. And, the gray-robed figure looked at Lin Yuan. I have also prepared a gift for you. Consider it a congratulatory gift. The gray-robed figure gradually dissipated. Lin Yuan stood there, plunged into silence. Attempting the ultimate, if it fails, means complete destruction without any trace left. The creator of the void secret realm, a 10th stage evil god, had a foundation even above those level 11 perfect legendary life forms of the main universe, but he too failed in the ultimate attempt. All his everything disappeared, leaving only a solitary void secret realm. Will I also end up like this in the future? Lin Yuan thought quietly to himself. But in the blink of an eye, Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. He was different from the creator of the void secret realm, who had no one before him and had to forge ahead by himself, where failure was all too normal. Lin Yuan was backed by human civilization, with the experiences of many supreme beings and some precious means to enhance the likelihood of making the ultimate leap. The chances of success were definitely much greater than those of the secret realm's creator. Most importantly, Lin Yuan was currently only at the 10th stage, and when he steps into the 11th stage, his foundation will undergo another comprehensive transformation, equally enhancing the opportunity to make the ultimate leap. Utilizing his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan couldn't guarantee he would definitely succeed in making the ultimate leap. But he could definitely maximize the chances of making it. So, the creator of the secret realm also left a gift? Is it a congratulatory gift? Lin Yuan looked towards the boulder where the gray-robed figure was, which also contained a vast space. When Lin Yuan sent a sliver of his will to probe into it, his expression slightly changed. These. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 825 Understanding the Void. Happy 61. Please subscribe. This gift. Lin Yuan swept his gaze over the vast space inside the huge rock, his expression slightly solemn. The gift prepared by the creator of the secret realm was in celebration of the next existence at the 10th stage under the boundless void. He paid great attention to this, and naturally, the gift was also very precious. Even Lin Yuan was somewhat surprised. However, in some ways, Lin Yuan could also be considered an existence at the 10th stage. Accepting this gift was only natural. Lin Yuan scrutinized every detail of the space inside the huge rock and finally nodded slightly, saying, a total of 678. Indeed, the gift prepared by the creator of the secret realm was precisely the void creatures. Moreover, they were void creature monarchs at the peak of the 9th stage, all 678 of them. At this moment, they were all neatly sleeping within the vast space of the huge rock. CTH Iyer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Void creatures are not life forms from the boundless void, but rather from outside the boundless void, between dimensions and dimensional gaps. Therefore, void creatures are also known as gap life forms. Killing void creatures can enhance one's spiritual will. The stronger the void creatures killed, the greater the increase in the spirit will index. Among them, the monarchs of the void creatures undoubtedly provide the best improvement to spiritual will. Lin Yuan still remembered when he killed his first 9th stage void creature monarch. It directly increased his spirit will index from 12 million points to nearly 20 million points. A single void creature monarch directly increased nearly 8 million points of spiritual will on top of the base of 12 million points. Such an increase, even within the main universe, was unheard of by Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan even speculated that if his spirit will index wasn't 12 million points but instead 1 or 2 million points, would killing that 9th stage perfect void creature monarch have directly soared his spirit will index to 12 or 20 million points. The higher the spirit will index, the more difficult it is to improve. From this, one can see how valuable a 9th stage void creature monarch really is. Unfortunately, 9th stage void creature monarchs are too rare. Lin Yuan's Taiyang divine spirit had ventured through the void secret realm for hundreds of years and had only encountered that one. Now, with Lin Yuan's fusion of time and space insight reaching the 6th realm, he can see through the entire void secret realm at a glance, and so far, he has only discovered 4 void creature monarchs. 2 of them are only at the 8th layer, and the other 2 are at the 9th stage. These 4 void creature monarchs are all hidden in extremely secretive locations within the void secret realm, locations that even the perfect demon true lords might not discover for tens of billions of years. But now, a full 678 void creature monarchs, quietly sleeping within the space of the huge rock. And these 678 void creature monarchs, all at the 9th stage, and at the peak of the 9th stage at that, any one of them is enough to significantly elevate Lin Yuan's spiritual will over the only one he had ever killed. Such a grand gesture. Lin Yuan couldn't help but exclaim. So many void creature monarchs. It's likely that since the creation of the void secret realm to date, all the existing void creature monarchs combined wouldn't match this number. Even the child of the void, the controller of the void secret realm, has never seen so many void creature monarchs. Otherwise, he would not have become the creator of the secret realm, presenting a congratulatory gift to a 10th stage existence of later generations. At least in the creator's eyes, so many void creature monarchs could have a significant effect on a 10th stage existence. That's right. Lin Yuan thought for a moment, his expression pensive. The original creator of the void secret realm had gathered many gap life forms from beyond the boundless void, and he definitely kept on hand the highest quality batch of those gap life forms. And this accounts for the hundreds of 9th stage perfect void creatures currently inside the huge rock. With my current strength, I can also briefly escape the boundless void and touch the gaps between different dimensions to capture those gap life creatures. Lin Yuan touched his chin, thinking to himself. After reaching the 6th realm of fusion of time and space insight, he felt that he could break free from the shackles of the boundless void, following the void secret realm to the dimensional gap areas. Never mind. It's too time-consuming. Lin Yuan quickly abandoned the idea. Originally, for the creator of the secret realm to capture so many void creatures, it took countless years, far beyond hundreds of billions, with an average of tens of millions of years needed for a single void creature monarch. Lin Yuan's current strength, indeed, is somewhat stronger than that of the secret realm's creator, but not much stronger. To spend tens of millions of years capturing a void creature monarch? In tens of millions of years, Lin Yuan doesn't even know to what heights he could evolve. The creator of the secret realm did so because he had reached a dead end. But Lin Yuan has no such need. With that time, even if he allows his spiritual will to grow slowly, it would be much faster than capturing void creature monarchs. So many 9th stage perfect void creature monarchs, I wonder how much they can elevate my spiritual will index. Lin Yuan looked at the many void creature monarchs in the space inside the huge rock, his face showing anticipation. According to Lin Yuan's original plan, within this boundless void, his spiritual will's upper limit would be around 25 million points. Because the number of void creatures is limited, there just aren't that many for Lin Yuan to kill, especially after passing 20 million points. Only by killing the monarchs among the void creatures could he make some progress. But now, looking at the many void creature monarchs inside the space of the huge rock, Lin Yuan also has some doubts about his ultimate spiritual will index limit. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 826 Comprehension of the Void. Happy June 1st. Please subscribe. _2 Let's begin. Lin Yuan didn't hesitate much, and immediately started to kill the void creatures in the space within the giant rock. Facing these void creatures, Lin Yuan felt no compassion, as they weren't even of the same species as he was, akin to ordinary people slaughtering chickens or pigs. Boundless void. Nearly 100 perfect demon true lords gathered, all discussing the emergence of a second 10th stage being in the boundless void. The being that reached the 10th stage is called Martial Ancestor? Martial Ancestor wants us to give up half of our territorial area to those weak ants? Why is Martial Ancestor being so powerful, so merciful to those ants? If you have an opinion, why don't you go talk to Martial Ancestor? Forget it, I wouldn't dare. Each of the perfect demon true lords discussed, though some were quite dissatisfied with conceding half of their territory, it was merely discontent. Wanting them to argue with Martial Ancestor. Even with 10 times the courage, no demon true lord dared to do so. They had all grown to the 9th stage perfect level, not like those 6th stage or 7th stage demons who occasionally went insane. The 9th stage perfect demons were extremely rational, understanding that what shouldn't be done, and the will of the 10th stage Martial Ancestor couldn't be defied. Moreover, conceding only half of the territory didn't touch these perfect demons' bottom line, so the reaction wasn't very intense either. While numerous perfect demon true lords debated the issues, the Child of the Void sat high on the throne, somewhat nonchalantly observing the exchanges of the many perfect demons below. Martial Ancestor vanished from the Void's secret realm? When Lin Yuan entered the hidden space in the core area of the deepest part of the Void's secret realm, his aura disappeared from the Void's secret realm, which was also detected by the Child of the Void. The entire Void's secret realm holds no trace of Martial Ancestor's aura? The Child of the Void carefully sensed it, speculating in his heart, could it be that there is a secret in the Void's secret realm that I don't know about? The Child of the Void had presided over the Void's secret realm for many long years, considering himself exceptionally knowledgeable about it. But now, the mysterious disappearance of Martial Ancestor's aura naturally led the Child of the Void to ponder other possibilities. Of course, the Child of the Void had no other ideas. After all, over the long years, he couldn't discover the secret. Even if given 10 times or 100 times the time, he still wouldn't be able to. That's about enough. The Child of the Void glanced downward. At this moment, the many perfect demon true lords had mostly finished their debates. Actually, ceding half of the territorial area didn't affect the Child of the Void. It was mainly up to these perfect demon true lords to decide how much they should yield. Martial Ancestor protected those ants because they could cultivate the martial Tao? The Child of the Void quietly pondered in his heart, if there's time, I must also try whether I can cultivate the martial Tao. Martial Ancestor valued the martial Tao so much that the Child of the Void also became curious about it, planning to personally give it a try. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 10 years went by. Hidden space in the Void's secret realm. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged on top of the giant rock. The invisible force of mental will swept in all directions, distorting time and space, forming a mental storm that raged continuously through the hidden space. My mental will has finally reached the ultimate stage. Lin Yuan slowly opened his eyes, the vast mental will beginning to rapidly retract. After 10 years of absorption and constantly killing one void creature after another, Lin Yuan's mental will finally reached its peak. Reaching the peak meant that continuing to kill those void creature monarchs had nearly stalled the improvement of his mental will. My current mental will index should be between 33,300,000 to 33,400,000, right? Lin Yuan assessed himself, estimating. This range of the mental will index is 33,333,333 points. The specific amount of mental will index was something Lin Yuan couldn't ascertain. Even in the human civilization of the main universe where mental will could be measured, it was only a rough estimate. Especially given that Lin Yuan's current mental will index was extraordinarily high, making it even more impossible to accurately measure, relying only on his own experience and perception to judge. And the range of 33,003,000 to 40,000 points of mental will reminded Lin Yuan of the number 33,333,333. Here the Oval Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. In the main universe, Lin Yuan had encountered this number many times, such as the number of insights in the path of demonic evolution of the magic Jade Tower, the count of silver-white text in void interpretation, and the time initially needed for accumulating a strand of world-breaking origin force at the Myriad Realms Gate. And now, reaching the limits of the mental will index again also approached this number. This number might hold a great secret, Lin Yuan secretly thought to himself, then placed this doubt at the bottom of his heart. No matter what secret it held, it was still too distant for the current Lin Yuan, at least needing to reach the ultimate stage before having the ability to explore and scrutinize it. Asterisk, a mental will index over 33 million is not considered weak even on the level of supreme beings, right? Asterisk, Lin Yuan quickly thought in his heart. 18 million points of mental will index was the threshold for the most powerful. Only when life makes an ultimate leap, residing permanently at the shore, would one's mental will quickly cross this line. And 33,300,000+ points of mental will index exceeded this threshold by a significant margin, possibly unreachable immediately by those newly at the 12th stage of the ultimate. Increasing mental will by one-fold was countless times harder than increasing physical strength by the same amount. There are 203 void creature monarchs left. Lin Yuan glanced again at the void creature monarchs within the giant rock space. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 827 Understanding the Void, Happy 61, Subscribe Request, _3 Lin Yuan's spiritual willpower index has already reached its limit. Continuing to kill these void creature monarchs no longer yields any improvement. Just as Lin Yuan's spiritual willpower index exceeded 10 million points, killing those ordinary void creatures also failed to produce any effect. What a pity, these void creatures originate from the dimensional gaps and cannot enter other dimensions, otherwise they would vanish into thin air. Thinking to himself, Lin Yuan had discovered this rule early on when the Taiyang divine spirit first entered the void secret realm and killed the first void creature. That is, void creatures can't enter the boundless void. Strictly speaking, the void secret realm is a net formed from the boundless void towards the dimensional gaps and is essentially still within the dimensional gaps. Thus, void creatures can survive in the secret realm, simply unable to leave. But that's all there is to it. Any void creature that truly enters the dimension of the boundless void will irreversibly perish, no matter what method or means of isolation are used. This is also why Lin Yuan has never seen these void creatures outside of the void secret realm. And if they can't even enter the boundless void, let alone the chaos void where the main universe is located, this makes Lin Yuan quite regretful. You see, killing these void creatures directly and significantly enhances the strength of spiritual willpower. Such an event in the main universe would be nothing short of a fantasy. At least, with Lin Yuan's current status in human civilization, he has never heard of such treasures. There are means to enhance spiritual willpower, but a significant enhancement? And such a straightforward, significant enhancement without any theoretical basis. That is to say, if Lin Yuan could bring these void creatures to the main universe, even if he does not wish to aid enemies, merely exchanging within human civilization, he could obtain unimaginable merit points and 12-star treasures. There's no doubt, those 10th and 11th stage evolvers of human civilization would spare no expense to enhance their spiritual willpower, even just a little bit. As for the amount of world-breaking origin force needed to bring void creatures from the boundless void back to the main universe, as long as the gain is substantial enough, Lin Yuan wouldn't mind spending the world-breaking origin force to do so. See the novel, The Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Essentially, the world-breaking origin force is a type of resource, and this resource is renewable. Unfortunately, void creatures can't survive in any dimension, which means Lin Yuan's idea of trading between two realms is directly thwarted. Even if Lin Yuan cannot bring void creatures to the main universe, he has ways to let the human evolvers of the main universe enjoy the most direct enhancement of spiritual willpower by killing void creatures. That is to directly bring them to the boundless void, enter the void secret realm, and then kill those void creatures. The Myriad Realms Gate can transport physical bodies, and can also carry items from the main universe. Naturally, it is also capable of bringing other life forms to the traversed worlds. It's merely a question of how much world-breaking origin force is consumed. Since void creatures cannot leave, then let human civilization evolvers from the main universe come here. But this method is very risky and can easily expose the secret of the Myriad Realms Gate. Means of traversing different dimensions, even those beings close to a perfect time being cannot achieve it directly, and Lin Yuan easily did it? And brought someone along? The Myriad Realms Gate is Lin Yuan's biggest trump card, far surpassing Shenhuang's Secret Realm, Demon Jade Space, and others. It absolutely must not be revealed even a bit. That's why, even though this method is highly feasible and the potential gains are immense, relying on Lin Yuan's connection with the Tianqing world, bringing one human civilization evolver over and consuming at most a couple strands of world-breaking origin force is possible. And the gains might be the vast majority of that evolver's lifetime savings. But Lin Yuan absolutely wouldn't take such a risk. Even in the future, when Lin Yuan becomes the ultimate being, he won't proceed with such an action. If able to step into the ultimate realm, Lin Yuan might choose to reveal the Shenhuang secret realm, but the Myriad Realms Gate? Better not. The remaining void creature monarchs can stay here. Lin Yuan finally glanced at the space inside the boulder, then took a step and disappeared on the spot. Lin Yuan began to traverse the void secret realm, carefully experiencing every detail of this realm. With his sixth realm of temporal sensation, Lin Yuan could see through everything in the void secret realm at a glance, but seeing through doesn't mean it's not helpful. With the aid of the void secret realm, Lin Yuan could observe the path taken by the realm's creator. Although that creator failed in their attempt to reach the ultimate, reaching the 10th stage means potential is not an issue. Failing to reach the ultimate cannot deny this point. After all, failing to reach the ultimate involves various factors, and bad luck is very likely. After spending 5 years, Lin Yuan explored every corner of the void secret realm. He then began exploring the entire boundless void. Compared to the void secret realm, the boundless void is much simpler, but it drained more of Lin Yuan's energy. After all, the void secret realm is artificially created. Even if it contains the path of a 10th stage existence, it can't compare to the boundless void itself. 5 years passed again. Lin Yuan traversed the entire boundless void. Then and there, Lin Yuan casually chose a place to sit cross-legged, observation coming to an end, now pausing to reflect deeply and convert everything he had seen and felt into his own gains. At this moment, in a corner of the vast boundless void, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, sorting through his own insights. having naturally observed spiritual epiphanies occurring, and after 10 years of observation, all of everything converged in his chest, he quickly comprehended using his against heaven's understanding. Your understanding is against heaven. Observing the void has greatly increased your comprehension of the life and death samsara rule. Your understanding is against heaven. Observing the void has greatly increased your comprehension of the great destruction rule. Your understanding is against heaven. Observing the void has greatly increased your comprehension of the causality fluctuation rules. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 828. A century later, please subscribe. In the boundless void, the vast majority of regions are incomparably desolate. At a certain moment, a tiny figure floated along with the ever-present tidal currents of the void. Lin Yuan slowly opened his eyes and glanced around the void, a surge of emotion welling up inside him. Wandering the void secret realm for 5 years, drifting through the boundless void for another 5. In the end, he chose to sit in meditation, to digest and comprehend. Before he knew it, 20 years had passed. For these 20 years, Lin Yuan arbitrarily chose a spot, not using any power, just drifting with the ebb and flow of the void. 20 years of Tao comprehension. I've made significant gains in other fusion rules, but the spatiotemporal fusion rule? Still stuck in the 6th realm, not even close to the peak. Lin Yuan thought quietly to himself, not too surprised either. The space-time fusion rule's 6-fold realm was already the domain of the strongest beings. As for reaching the peak of the 6th realm or even venturing into the 7th, 8th, or 9th realms, even with his confidence, Lin Yuan didn't think he could fathom them within the 10th layer. You have to understand, even His Majesty Xian Huang, who traverses the chaos void, has only reached the 9th realm in his comprehension of the spatiotemporal fusion rule. Nevertheless, when the 6-armed figure recounted these matters to Lin Yuan, it did so with pride. Clearly, beyond the 6th realm of the spatiotemporal fusion rule, even the strongest beings find each step excruciatingly hard. Let's set aside the spatiotemporal fusion rule for now, Lin Yuan silently resolved. The reason he could reach the 6th realm of spatiotemporal comprehension so quickly was mainly due to the insights contributed by the powerhouses of the myriad tribes within the white paper from a 2-dimensional world. Without these insights, even with Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, reaching the 6th realm would have taken 10 or even dozens of times longer. Though the myriad tribes' powerhouses' insights into spatiotemporal laws had not touched upon the 6th realm, the numerous insights from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th realms provided Lin Yuan with an extremely solid foundation, and only with the help of the secret skill Milky Way could he step into the 6th realm within a mere few hundred years. The comprehension of spatiotemporal fusion rule is sufficient for now. Even if I reach the 11th tier, it's unlikely to hit the 7th realm. Without reaching the 7th realm, the gap between the 6th realm and its peak isn't that significant. Lin Yuan thought, what I need to consider now is how to comprehend the chaos rule. The chaos rule is the origin of all rules, encompassing even the spatiotemporal fusion rule. Before attempting the ultimate breakthrough, if one can comprehend the chaos rule, it would greatly increase the odds of advancing to the 12th tier. However, comprehending the chaos rule is much harder than reaching the 6th realm of the spatiotemporal fusion rule. In fact, it's vastly more difficult. The chaos rule reigns supreme over all other rules, with only the strongest beings potentially touching upon it, and that's just a possibility. In reality, the vast majority of the strongest beings have not comprehended the chaos rule. At least among the 9 strongest of human civilization, none have comprehended the chaos rule. Something the strongest cannot do? It's basically impossible for beings below the strongest. But Lin Yuan still plans to try. At least there is some hope. Lin Yuan doesn't intend to fathom the chaos rule at the 10th tier. It's only necessary to understand it before making the final push. How exactly does one comprehend the chaos rule? Lin Yuan felt somewhat vexed. The method to understand it is simple. Just fuse all the rules together. But easier said than done. The execution is as hard as scaling the heavens. How to fuse? In what way to fuse? All these are problems. Just the fusion of time and space has already taken so much time and energy from Lin Yuan. To merge all the rules? Lin Yuan feels that he still falls far short, lacking in many aspects. Take it slowly. Perhaps at the 11th tier, he'll find the direction. Lin Yuan reflected silently. The rule fluctuations perceived by a being at the 10th tier versus those at the 11th tier are entirely different. Standing taller allows one to see further, and it's not just about the perspective, but involves many other aspects. And with Against Heaven's understanding, as Lin Yuan's realm elevates, it will play an even more unbelievable role. The remaining time of stay, Lin Yuan glanced at the ethereal panel in the lower left of his vision. Name, Lin Yuan. Identity, Keeper of the Myriad Realms Gate. Innate talent, Against Heaven's understanding. Divine skills, Blood rebirth. Divine skills, Mountain moving. Divine skills, Enhance. Divine skills, Elemental body. Divine skills, World. Current state, Consciousness descending. Remaining stay duration, 101 years. Unknowingly, he has been descended in the boundless void for 500 years. With the premise of a total resident time of 600 years, Lin Yuan has 100 years remaining. It's about time. It's time to go back and wrap up some loose ends. Lin Yuan slowly stood up. This descent into the Tianqing world had fully met his expectations in terms of strength enhancement. Sir, the novel fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Whether it was the 5th type of physical body divine ability or the comprehension of various rules, there had been sufficient progress compared to before the transition. Aside from the enhancement of strength, Lin Yuan also needed to pay attention to the spread of the martial arts evolution system, which not only affects his charge towards the ultimate but could also have a considerable impact on successfully becoming one of the strongest beings, depending on how widely the martial arts evolution pathway is disseminated. Whoosh! Lin Yuan stepped out in one stride. In an instant, he appeared within the Tianqing world. Standing before the martial hall. Martial ancestor. High Priest Qingyao immediately rushed over to pay her respects. How are the preparations? Lin Yuan looked towards High Priest Qingyao. Having meditated in silence for 20 years in the void, Lin Yuan wasn't solely in reclusive cultivation for enlightenment. Occasionally, he would also issue commands to High Priest Qingyao through the ancestral demon tree. Actually, not just in the Tianqing world, but also in the dozens of worlds already occupied by the Taiyin primordial spirit, Lin Yuan's commands held sway. Everything is ready. High Priest Qingyao immediately said. To her, the words of the martial ancestor were more important than her own life. Commands issued by the martial ancestor were naturally to be fulfilled by High Priest Qingyao at any cost. 265 billion martial Tao cultivators are all standing by, with even more martial Tao cultivators being recruited. High Priest Qingyao spoke up. These 265 billion martial Tao cultivators were at least above the 3rd realm in the martial Tao system, having already made some progress in the martial Tao cultivation system. They are the elite forces of the martial Tao in the Tianqing world. Good. Lin Yuan nodded. The reason he had High Priest Qingyao prepare so many martial Tao cultivators was to accelerate the spread of the martial Tao cultivation system. How to spread the martial Tao cultivation system at the fastest speed. Naturally, it involves sending a group of cultivators who have already achieved something in the martial Tao to worlds where the martial Tao is just starting to sprout. In the boundless void, there are countless worlds. Even if Lin Yuan were to take over just half of these territories, the number of worlds he would own is unimaginable. Want to spread martial Tao in so many worlds? Relying solely on the Taiyin primordial spirit and the Taiyang divine spirit would not suffice, even to the point of exhaustion. In the previous centuries, the Taiyin primordial spirit only occupied dozens of worlds. Part of the reason was to keep a low profile and not draw the attention of other evil gods. But even if the Taiyin primordial spirit spared no effort in spreading martial Tao, the number of worlds it could influence in a few hundred years would probably only amount to several hundred or 1,000. Spreading the martial Tao is not as simple as just occupying a world. It also requires a lot of time to influence and assimilate. The latter is particularly time-consuming. Most of the time that the Taiyin primordial spirit spends occupying and spreading martial Tao in various worlds is used for this purpose. When Lin Yuan initially took over the Tianqing world, his true body also spent a lot of time on this. Therefore, the best way to spread the martial Tao is to let the martial Tao cultivators spread it themselves. This is also why Lin Yuan, in the first few hundred years of his arrival, did not quietly stay in the Tianqing world to cultivate, but instead had the Taiyin primordial spirit occupy one world after another. Only with more occupied worlds and a broader base of martial Tao cultivators will the speed of spreading martial Tao be faster in the future. Otherwise, relying only on the martial Tao cultivators from the Tianqing world alone, the efficiency is still somewhat low. Next, I will send these martial Tao cultivators to different worlds. Lin Yuan spoke up. Naturally, this task was not for his true body to carry out, but for the Taiyin primordial spirit and Taiyang divine spirit. Transporting a large number of martial Tao cultivators to different worlds is not a difficult task for both primordial spirits. With a common understanding of the rules, Lin Yuan has perceived the space-time fusion's sixfold realm. Both primordial spirits have also perceived the sixfold realm of space-time, and being in this boundless void, wherever their thoughts go, they can arrive in an instant. Add to that his vast internal world, and the task of transportation couldn't be simpler. Sending to different worlds, High Priest Qinjiu's heartbeat quickened, and even she was vaguely aware of this possibility, but upon actually hearing the martial ancestor say so, her excitement was still hard to conceal. If it is as the martial ancestor says, wouldn't the martial Tao have the potential to become the dominator of this expanse of void in the future? Lin Yuan went to the other dozens of worlds in turn, these dozens of worlds personally occupied by the Taiyin primordial spirit, even if in the future the martial Tao spread across the boundless void, could still be regarded as one of the origins of the martial Tao. After all this, Lin Yuan took another step, appearing deep within the void's secret realm. Martial ancestor. The child of the void was startled and immediately bowed deeply to Lin Yuan. At this moment his location was no longer the most central area of the void's secret realm but belonged to the second-tier regions. Ever since he perceived the martial ancestor's ability to freely enter and exit the most central area of the void's secret realm, the child of the void never entered there again, subconsciously treating the core area as the martial ancestor's place. He took the initiative to retreat here. How are things arranged? Lin Yuan asked directly. Almost done. Most evil gods have already retreated to the domains divided for them. The child of the void immediately said. Decades ago, the child of the void had divided the boundless void and the void's secret realm into two parts. One side for the domains of the evil gods, one side for the domains of martial Tao cultivators, and had submitted this division for Lin Yuan's review. At the time, Lin Yuan had agreed. After speaking with the child of the void for a while, Lin Yuan's figure vanished once more. In the hidden space of the void's secret realm, Lin Yuan's figure appeared and he sat down cross-legged. Let's continue to close-up cultivation for another 100 years. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and slowly closed his eyes. The two primordial spirits constantly transported numerous martial Tao cultivators to other worlds. And as for his true self, he was here comprehending the Tao. Time sped by swiftly. Before long, 100 years had passed. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 829 Like falling into an ice cellar, please subscribe. HTML, remaining time, 1 year. In the hidden space of the void's secret realm, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged on a massive boulder and opened his eyes, glancing at the illusory text in the lower left corner of his vision. Time to go back. Lin Yuan thought to himself. After spending 600 years in the boundless void, his time was drawing to a close. Unless Lin Yuan expended another third of a strand of world-breaking origin force, once his time ran out, he would automatically return to the main world. But, in the past 20 years, Lin Yuan had felt the constraints of this boundless universe on him. Simply put, the efficiency of comprehending the rules was gradually decreasing. To put it in more straightforward terms, the boundless void had been exhausted by Lin Yuan. The world, differing in size, contained different fundamental mysteries of rules. For example, taking the rule of time as an exemplar, the rule of time in the main universe was infinitely more vast compared to the rule of time in the central Earth world, or the spirit realm that Lin Yuan traversed previously. Unknown was how many times vaster the former was than the latter. Thus, the upper limit of the main universe far surpassed that of the central Earth world and the spirit realm. This was because creatures in the latter worlds were unable to perceive more complex and mysterious rules. Now, the boundless void was almost similar in principle to Lin Yuan. To continue cultivating in the boundless void, unless fully abandoning the comprehension of rules, was essentially meaningless, nothing more than a waste of time. Moreover, if Lin Yuan could transcend to level 11, level 12, the rule profundities he comprehended would likely surpass the boundless void. At that point, if Lin Yuan were to return to the boundless void, it would be the boundless void trying to leech off Lin Yuan's rule comprehension. Perhaps eons ago, the realm pioneer who failed to reach the ultimate not solely due to lack of foundation or poor luck, but because of the boundless void itself? Lin Yuan speculated in his heart, at least from the current outlook, the boundless void had never hosted a level 12 ultimate being. The sole realm pioneer who attempted to break through to level 12 eventually failed, with all traces of their existence thoroughly erased. But it makes no difference to me. Lin Yuan appeared calm. If the boundless void could no longer aid him in rule comprehension, he would return to the main universe to continue his insights. If someday the main universe could no longer provide rule comprehension, he would use the myriad realms gate to venture into higher dimensional spaces for insights. Sir the Novel Fire. NE*T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. For almost all beings, their limits had been predestined by their world, but Lin Yuan was different, bearing no such limit shackles. 100 years of arduous cultivation. Although the speed had slowed in the last 20 years, overall, it wasn't bad at all. Lin Yuan grinned. Throughout the century, Lin Yuan devoted the majority of his energy to rule comprehension, with a small fraction focused on refining his martial ancestor golden body. Leveraging the entire resources of the boundless void, Lin Yuan had trained the Xianhuang physique of his martial ancestor golden body to the level 11 perfect stage. The reason for investing so significantly in the martial ancestor golden body was that Lin Yuan had intended to use it as his permanent physical vessel in the boundless void ever since he arrived. Although the boundless void couldn't offer much aid to Lin Yuan in rule comprehension, cultivation was not solely about rule insights. If Lin Yuan intended to take a break and not focus on rule insights, the boundless void was a decent choice. The martial ancestor golden body could be directly inhabited upon arrival, saving much time. After all, refining the Xianhuang physique of the martial ancestor golden body to perfection was done using the resources of the boundless void, not costing Lin Yuan anything. Origin clock. Lin Yuan's mind stirred, and a palm-sized golden clock floated before him. Upon arriving in this boundless void and taking control of the martial ancestor golden body, Lin Yuan immediately summoned the weapon he had nurtured along his journey to this point. With 600 years of constant nurturing and a non-stop supply of abundant resources, the might of the origin clock was on par with any level 11 secret treasure. If wielded by Lin Yuan, the power it unleashed was incalculable. After all, the origin clock was birthed by Lin Yuan from nothing, perfectly attuned to him, allowing Lin Yuan to unleash its full power with a mere thought. Another secret treasure would require a full percentage of force to activate, whereas the origin clock required only a fraction. This was why Lin Yuan planned to shatter the peculiar items he obtained from the two-dimensional world into primal force, to nourish the origin clock. If the origin clock could reach level 12, it would assist Lin Yuan more than any 10 level 12 weapons or dozens of level 12 weapons. A weapon perfectly suited to oneself was exceedingly rare, let alone one as perfectly compatible as the origin clock. Countless rules. Lin Yuan's gaze was profound. The greatest gain from this voyage was his own spiritual will. Before arriving, Lin Yuan's spiritual will was merely in the millions, but now his spiritual will index had reached over 33,330,000. The rise of spiritual will wasn't as simple as a mere multiplication, becoming increasingly arduous towards the end. The threshold for the spiritual will index of a supreme being was 18 million points. The spiritual will index of level 11 perfect legendary life forms generally exceeded 10 million points. Asterisk, could it be that a supreme being's spiritual will was only 1.8 times stronger than that of those level 11 perfect legendary life forms? Asterisk, besides spiritual will, the most significant improvement was in rule comprehension for Lin Yuan. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 830 As if falling into an ice cellar, please subscribe. _2 Especially after comprehending the spatio-temporal fusion rule's sixfold realm, nearly 100 years had passed, during which he contemplated numerous other pillar-level fusion rules, allowing Lin Yuan to advance by leaps and bounds. There are 83 kinds of pillar-level fusion rules that have reached the sixfold realm. Specifically, they include the life and death samsara rule, the great destruction rule, the causality fluctuation rules, the spatio-temporal fissure rule, the endless stars rule, the cosmic river rule, the void tide rule, the cosmic rift rule, the 5-element cycle rule, and the spatial collapse rule. The spatio-temporal fusion rule's sixfold realm belongs to the domain of the most powerful beings. For the other pillar-level rules under this, reaching the 7th realm is required to achieve the ultimate level. Out of the 83 pillar-level fusion rules, none have reached the realm of ultimate beings, and all are at the peak of the sixfold realm, but their quantity is vast. Even for the most powerful beings, it would probably be very difficult to comprehend so many pillar-level fusion rules at the same time and elevate all to the peak of the sixfold realm. The time of the ultimate beings is still time, and they need to devote more of their cognitive energy to understanding their own paths. In fact, with Lin Yuan's comprehension abilities, if he focused on any one pillar-level fusion rule, it would be entirely possible to elevate one or two of them to the 7th realm within 100 years. However, it wouldn't be very meaningful, since without comprehending the spatio-temporal 6th realm, elevating a certain pillar-level fusion rule to the 7th realm would indeed greatly enhance Lin Yuan's strength. But with the basis of already having the spatio-temporal 6th realm, an additional 7th realm pillar-level fusion rule? Even if it could enhance Lin Yuan's strength, the improvement wouldn't be very significant. In comparison, comprehending more pillar-level fusion rules at the peak of the sixfold realm would be more helpful to Lin Yuan. It is also in preparation for eventually comprehending the chaos rule. Although he doesn't know exactly how to comprehend the chaos rule, according to the information Lin Yuan has so far, the more rules comprehended, the better. Without a sufficient number of rules comprehended, one cannot ultimately condense everything, return to the origin, and transform into chaos. Besides the pillar-level fusion rules, Lin Yuan has comprehended a large number of ordinary fusion rules, amounting to hundreds or even thousands. These ordinary fusion rules were basically not intentionally contemplated by Lin Yuan, but rather realized by chance, as a side discovery while studying other pillar-level fusion rules. Thinking about it now, my 10th rank compared to that of the 10,000 races of the cosmic starry sky's 10th ranks? Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. 4 10th rank evolvers of the main universe's human civilization, as well as those from other myriad clans, comprehending one pillar-level fusion rule is in grade 10th rank, and advancing that pillar-level fusion rule to the second realm would allow one to strive for level 11. But Lin Yuan? The second realm? Not to mention reaching the spatio-temporal fusion rule's sixfold realm, just for the pillar-level fusion rules, there are already 83 kinds that have reached the sixfold realm. In terms of pure rule comprehension, even those level 11 perfect legendary beings can't catch up to Lin Yuan. My strength has improved a lot now compared to 100 years ago when I first comprehended the spatio-temporal sixth realm. Lin Yuan felt good. The combined power of the many pillar-level fusion rules, each at the peak of the sixfold realm, coupled with control over the spatio-temporal sixth realm, exceeds the power of a single spatio-temporal sixth realm. After examining himself, Lin Yuan also looks towards the boundless void. With Lin Yuan's current comprehension of space and time, by just concentrating a little, he could sense the brilliant glow emanating from all the beings practicing martial Tao. For the past 100 years, the two primordial spirits have continually transported numerous martial Tao cultivators to other worlds, and now the number of martial Tao cultivators in this boundless void has indeed surpassed the martial arts evolutionaries of the main universe. Lin Yuan thought to himself, the size of the main universe's human civilization far exceeds the boundless void. Even the territories of the human civilization alone surpass the boundless void by much. But now the entirety of the boundless void is under Lin Yuan's dominion, and after 600 years of propagation and development, the number of martial Tao cultivators surpassing martial arts evolutionaries is not beyond Lin Yuan's expectations. Within human civilization's territory, countless citizens have many choices, such as the other 9 supreme evolutionary paths, as well as more suitable paths for their own evolution and so on. Sometimes, an evolutionary path that suits oneself is more critical than a more powerful one. But in the boundless void, martial Tao is the only, the supreme, hence all beings naturally practice martial Tao if they can, and even if they cannot, they still attempt to practice martial Tao. It's a pity there aren't many high-level martial Tao cultivators. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. This is also an inevitable result caused by the rapid development of martial Tao today. Any cultivation system takes a long time to produce high-level practitioners. Lin Yuan can only spread martial Tao wider. But high-level martial Tao cultivators? There is too much he cannot intervene in, unless he ceases his own cultivation and personally emerges to enlighten those martial Tao cultivators. That would be putting the cart before the horse. At any time, personal cultivation is the foundation. As for spreading martial Tao, essentially it's also for one's better cultivation in the future. There's only 1 year left, Sar the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lin Yuan pondered, thinking if there was still anything that needed to be wrapped up. Suddenly, just at this moment, Lin Yuan felt something, a surge of temporal and spatial fluctuations, magnificent and sweeping in all directions. A trace of surprise appeared on Lin Yuan's face. Has an evil god stepped into the 10th stage? After a brief sense, Lin Yuan clearly understood that the evil god who had stepped into the 10th stage was the child of the void. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 831 As if falling into an ice cellar, please subscribe. _3 Child of the Void has been trapped at the perfect 9th stage for tens of billions, hundreds of billions of years, never able to take that step. Yet shortly after Lin Yuan's arrival, he broke through. Lin Yuan speculated that the Child of the Void's breakthrough might have something to do with him. Many bottlenecks and shackles required a change of heart to overcome. Lin, the deputy tower master of the main universe's human civilization, was able to break through to the 11th stage because he lost to Yuan, who was still at the 9th stage, in their most proficient competition of the rule of time. Interesting. Lin Yuan stood up, took a step forward, and disappeared from where he was. Deep within the Void's secret realm, the aura of the Child of the Void was terrifying, with spatial temporal fluctuations sweeping in all directions. All the demonic divine masters who had reached the 9th stage of the boundless void sensed it. 10th stage. I have finally stepped into the 10th stage. Tears filled the eyes of the child of the void as he had been at the perfect 9th stage for far too long. If not for the existence of the void's secret realm, he would have doubted whether the boundless void had ever given birth to a 10th stage evil god. Well, I am also standing at the pinnacle peak throughout the history of the boundless void. The child of the void exuded spatial temporal aura wantonly, with ambition surging in his eyes. That martial ancestor, I need not be too wary of him anymore. Stepping into the 10th stage, the child of the void's self-confidence was greatly enhanced. In his view, even if the martial ancestor was also a 10th stage evil god, and even stronger than any other 10th stage evil god he knew of, according to the message left by the creator of the secret realm, ordinary 10th stage evil gods were not capable of treating the void's secret realm as nothing. But no matter what, he was now on the same level as the martial ancestor. The child of the void had no intention of fighting against the martial ancestor. Rarely did 9th stage evil gods kill one another, let alone at the 10th stage. Strong beings are not fools. Why would they risk their lives against beings of the same level after cultivating to such a realm? However, in terms of status, the child of the void felt that he should still strive for it. At the very least, he believed he did not need to grovel as he had before. At the same time, the spatial temporal fluctuations caused by the child of the void's ascension to the 10th stage also alarmed the many perfect demon true lords. Spatial temporal fluctuations? Has another powerhouse stepped into the 10th stage? Is it the great child of the void? Has the child of the void broken through to the 10th stage? One after another, the perfect demon true lords were initially incredulous, but then they became invigorated. Indeed, these years, under the oppression of the martial ancestor, they had been living quite stiflingly. The martial ancestor was too strong and influential. Not a single perfect demon true lord dared to defy him, not even dare to speak ill of him in secret. But now, the child of the void has also stepped into the 10th stage. Unlike the martial ancestor, at least the child of the void was the leader of all demonic divine masters. Before the martial ancestor stepped into the 10th stage, many perfect demon true lords were following the orders of the child of the void. Compared to the martial ancestor, whose temperament was unknown, naturally, many perfect demon true lords preferred the child of the void to step into the 10th stage. Let's go. Let us go congratulate the child of the void now. The great child of the void is destined to remain great forever. All the perfect demon true lords immediately set off toward the child of the void's location. A spacious grand hall. The child of the void sat high upon the throne, with the perfect demon true lords standing below. Great child of the void, your ascension to the 10th stage means your brilliance will surely envelop the boundless void. All life submits under your light. One after another, the perfect demon true lords congratulated the child of the void with utmost reverence. The child of the void sat quietly on the throne. He had heard such praises countless times before, but now that he had stepped into the 10th stage, it felt different. Great child of the void, from today on, we evil gods no longer need to cater to the whims of that martial ancestor. That's right. These few hundred years, I've really been living in trepidation, for fear of offending the martial ancestor one day. Now it's fine, with the great child of the void here, the martial ancestor won't dare to go too far. Many perfect demon true lords quickly mentioned the martial ancestor, which was inevitable. Before the child of the void's breakthrough to the 10th stage, the martial ancestor had been the dominator of the boundless void. Even the child of the void had to look up to him. But now, everything was different. At least, the boundless void had two more dominators. Of course, the many perfect demon true lords present did not really expect the child of the void to strain relations with the martial ancestor for their sake. That's unrealistic. But at least he could serve as their solid backing, causing the martial ancestor to be apprehensive and elevate the status of the perfect demon true lords. Rest assured, The child of the void replied, a confident expression on his face. Now that I have stepped into the 10th stage, I will surely not let you suffer any grievances. The child of the void had not yet finished speaking. The spatial-temporal surroundings fell into an eerily silent stillness. This silence, thorough and complete, made even an evil god of the 10th stage like the child of the void unable to sense any spatial-temporal fluctuation, as if he had been brought back to the 9th stage, no, the feeblest first stage. Swoosh! A figure appeared silently. He looked exceedingly ordinary, without any aura emanating, but in this completely silent spatial-temporal environment, he seemed out of place, as though all of time and space were under his feet. This figure was Lin Yuan. Merely appearing, he silenced the entirety of time and space. The aura of the child of the void, which was like a boundless ocean, now seemed like a toothless tiger, struggling to even sit on his throne, beads of cold sweat forming. Martial ancestor. The child of the void looked up at the martial ancestor standing high above. At this moment, how could he not realize that the changes around were all because of the martial ancestor, and that he had thought after stepping into the 10th stage, he would be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with him? But now it seemed it was just a joke. Without even making a move, the martial ancestor was already almost too much for him to bear. Was this what it meant to be on an equal footing? I've seen that you've stepped into the 10th stage. Lin Yuan glanced down at the child of the void and said in a calm tone, so I've come over, planning to congratulate you. Thank you, martial ancestor. Martial ancestor, you have troubled yourself. The child of the void forced a smile, speaking in an utterly respectful manner. The many perfect demon true lords below were also aware of the completely silent spatial-temporal reality. However, compared to the change in space and time, the dialogue and postures between the child of the void and the martial ancestor at this moment made all the perfect demon true lords tremble with fear. Search * the Oval Fire. @ website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. As if plunged into an icehouse. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.